Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook Chapter 61. I didn't expect you to choose this. The attack failed, and the Wolf King screamed in the sky. Ow! The rest of the wolves who had not been trapped immediately understood, and they also began to raise their heads and start accumulating energy, preparing for the wind blade magic. Claire's eyes flickered, glanced at the knights in armor, and threw a magic scroll from the space ring into Rona's hand. At this time, it was too late to connect mentally, so he could only point at the knights and shout, "There is a second-level defensive magic on it, go and help them." Although Rona didn't understand, she understood what Claire meant. She picked up the magic scroll, tapped the ground with her toes, and jumped back and forth before the trees, releasing wind blade magic in the wolves. Got there before. Rona tore open the scroll, a golden light flashed, and a transparent wall emitting gold appeared in front of the wolves. The wind blades shot out one after another, banging on it, making a constant explosion, but the golden shield still stood. Seeing this scene, the Wolf King glared at Claire fiercely, and let out an unwilling roar. Go to hell. Wolf Cub. Hunter rammed sideways, knocking the cloned Wolf King out a few meters away. The Wolf King stumbled a few times, but quickly stabilized his figure, then he took his eyes back and started to fight with Hunter. Although Hunter is a silver knight with the same level of strength as the opponent, human beings always suffer when facing monsters. Generally speaking, it takes 3 or 5 people to feed the opponent steadily, so Hunter quickly fell. Downwind, you can only use the big sword to constantly block. But after Claire also joined the battle, the situation began to change. Every time the Wolf King's attack intention was seen by Claire, he was interrupted by a magic when he was about to attack Hunter. You have to keep talking with Claire carefully, and if things go on like this, you will definitely lose to the two of them. In the process of shaking with Hunter, he was once again forced to retreat by Claire's magic. The Wolf King couldn't bear to bark his sharp teeth at Claire, but what he got was another magic face from Claire's oncoming face. The Wolf King, who had been forced to retreat, lowered his body slightly, and Hunter dragged his sword and smashed it. But when he was about to cut, there was a flash of silver light, and the Wolf King's figure suddenly disappeared in front of his eyes, followed by a shrill metal friction sound. Innate ability. Claire murmured, each beast has its own innate ability. The ability of this group of hurricane wolves should be able to quickly increase their speed. Even if he was standing more than 10 meters away, he just could only. I saw a silver light flashing behind Hunter. Boom. There were 3 more scratches on Hunter's back and shoulders, as well as bone-deep wounds. If it wasn't for the armor, this blow might have torn half of Hunter's body to pieces. The roar sounded, and Hunter was shot out by this blow, and slammed into a big tree that the 3 of them hugged. Lord, be careful. Hunter suddenly shouted. He saw that the Wolf King did not take him as a target after repelling him, but instead attacked Claire. The speed was still very fast, and Claire only saw a silver light coming towards him. The effect of the lightning technique was still there. Claire withdrew with 1 foot, and shot a few primary spells in the direction of the Wolf King, but they were all easily dodged by the opponent. The two were getting closer and closer, and the Wolf King seemed to be able to see the human being torn to pieces by it, and a cruel smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Claire's face was calm, and she thought silently in her heart, 9 steps, 8 steps, 7 steps, hey. This distance is enough, I shouldn't be able to run away. Boom. The gunshot sounded, and the Wolf King's agile body suddenly stagnated. It was too fast just now and he couldn't react to what happened, but his body had already reacted, and he had no motivation to move forward at all. Lightning strike technique. Claire pointed to the sky with 1 finger, and let a blue lightning bolt from the sky to bombard the Wolf King, causing him to twitch all over his body. Yeah. Claire looked at the Wolf King who was paralyzed and nodded, it should be fine. Hunter also ran back at this time, pressing the Wolf King under him, preventing him from moving. After the wolf pack who was still fighting saw that the Wolf King was subdued, they lost their desire to fight, and were quickly taken down by the knights. Although the Wolf King couldn't move his body, his consciousness was still there, and he kept barking his teeth and barking in Claire's direction as if he would not admit defeat. Claire didn't get used to the opponent either, so she took the big sword directly from Hunter's hand and put it on the opponent's neck. The Wolf King's ferocious eyes became clear to the naked eye, and even the wolf howl stopped consciously, and could only make a whimper-like sound in his mouth. Claire smiled in her heart. Very good. Fear of death means that there is still the possibility of taming. If you are not afraid of death, it will be a little difficult. Hunter still suppressed the Wolf King, and Claire also began to prepare a spiritual connection to establish a connection with the other party. Quote. This human is actually ambushing us. Damn, I should have retreated with the wolves from the beginning. You're still attacking me with something you don't know, and you don't talk about martial arts. It's over, I shouldn't die here, this despicable human. Claire, don't scold, I heard it all. Wolf King. After Claire's voice came out of his mind, the Wolf King looked around for a few times, and finally set his eyes on the smiling human in front of him. Don't look, it's me. Claire said directly. Hey, how could he speak the language of our wolf clan? No, he didn't open his mouth, so where did his voice come from? The Wolf King's head was full of doubts at the moment. This is a kind of spiritual connection. Anyway, you don't understand it. We can communicate now. Don't think about it, I can know it. Claire found that this spiritual connection method can also be regarded as a mind-reading technique. But this mind-reading technique is a two-way street. The Wolf King didn't worry too much, he bared his teeth and yelled at Claire, what are you trying to do when you arrest me? Let you be my mount. Claire laughed. The Wolf King immediately became furious and said decisively, impossible, absolutely impossible. I am the Wolf King of the Wolf Pack, and even if I die, I can't be your human mount. Even if it's death. Claire repeated what the other party said, but the great sword in his hand swayed a few times, intentionally or unintentionally. The Wolf King felt a chill in his heart, and somehow he just felt the real killing intent from the other party. Even if I die, I won't be your human mount. The Wolf King said it again, but his tone was a little weaker than before. Don't worry, I'll give you 3 choices, you can choose after listening. First, lead your wolves to obey me. Before Claire finished speaking, www.mtlnovel.com, he was interrupted by the other party. The Wolf King bared his teeth again and said, this is impossible. It is impossible for us monsters to become slaves of humans. Claire ignored it and continued, the second option is to die. I'd like to see how many wolves out there are as tough as you. Claire still had a smile on her face when she said this, but the Wolf King looked very infiltrating, especially when the emotions of both parties could still be shared. He completely felt Claire's killing. I mean, this is not a way to deceive yourself. If you really choose this, the other party will not hesitate to slaughter yourself. The third option is not too bad, I'll let you go. I choose the third one. Are you going to choose this before I finish? Yes. That's right. Life is precious, and love is more expensive. If it is for freedom, both can be thrown away. The big sword in Claire's hand slowly lifted up and moved under the Wolf King. Seriously, I didn't expect you to choose this option and let you go, provided you are castrated. Wolf King. What are you talking about? Don't. The Wolf King's body trembled, I think we can still discuss it. Really don't think about it anymore. You can gain freedom and life at the same time. Claire said with a smile. Although he knew that the other party was mocking him, the Wolf King still dared not talk back, so he could only secretly say, damn, this human is a devil. Claire's great sword moved down again. I reminded you before, don't think about it, I can know. Don't. The Wolf King persuaded. Chapter 62. Don't be fooled. I've chosen to tell you now, it's up to you how to choose. Claire stood in front of the Wolf King, consciously or unintentionally swaying the big sword around the Wolf King's neck and crotch. When he moved to his crotch, the Wolf King's body shrank back involuntarily, and when he moved to his neck, he couldn't help but feel a chill in his neck. I'll think about it again, said the Wolf King. Claire didn't give it a chance. In 3 seconds, if you can't make a choice, I'll choose it for you. The Wolf King was startled, and quickly felt Claire's emotions. Damn, this guy seems to want to castrate himself. 3, 2. Claire moved the great sword and opened her mouth to say, 1. I'll obey you. The Wolf King roared at the critical moment, but when he finished saying this, another thought flashed in his mind. The big deal is to pretend to obey you now to save one's life, and later find an opportunity to take this damn humans got killed. Claire tilted her head, raised her sword high and aimed it at the Wolf King's head. I have reminded you twice, don't think blindly, why are you always disobedient? Before he finished speaking, the big sword slammed down fiercely, slashing to a position less than 3 centimeters away from the Wolf King, and the splashed soil splashed directly on the Wolf King's face, scaring him quite a bit. This is just a warning. Claire raised the big sword again, aimed it at the Wolf King's crotch, and said with a pleasant expression, "You can feel it, I'm not joking with you again with this blow." Just in his tone, the Wolf King could hear a faint killing intent, coupled with the shared emotions between the two parties. He could completely feel that Claire was going to castrate him, and then kill himself. As for the fundamentals of letting him go, it's just nonsense. Where did the third choice come from to make fun of him? If he didn't make a choice at this moment, then he would have imagined the fate. This is also the core function of spiritual connection. It can not only convey friendship and make a deep friendship with pets, but also can be used to threaten each other like Claire. Once the spirits are connected with each other, it is equivalent to having both trump cards. Come out, there is no room for the slightest manipulation. In this transaction, Claire is completely in the upper position, and the Wolf King's life cannot be in his own hands. The Wolf King can clearly feel that if he does not agree, he will definitely be killed by Claire, and he is a little small in his heart. I can't escape thoughts, and I can't even pretend to obey. This is the reason why so many monsters are difficult to domesticate. The most important reason is that they cannot communicate with the language of monsters. Even if monsters have wisdom that is not weaker than human beings, they can't communicate even if they can't even bargain like the Wolf King. Arrive. In addition, some monsters are really unruly and would rather die than be used by humans as mounts, and some feel that they are so important that humans can't kill themselves. It is true that the monsters that are so hard to catch want the other party to obey them, those nobles they really don't want to kill them, so they can only compromise constantly. In the end, if they can't be a mount, they can be an ornamental pet. Others pretend to obey after being beaten and tortured, but at the critical moment, they will temporarily turn against the water and drag you to ***** together. As a result, there is no trust between beasts and humans at all. Due to this uncertainty, almost don't dare to take them to the battlefield. But Claire and the Wolf King are different. The Wolf King knows that he will die if he doesn't promise. He can feel Claire's emotions. The human in front of him has no idea of compromise, and the thoughts in his mind are completely given by Claire. Insight, it is impossible to even pretend to obey, and it is only given 2 choices, obey or die. As wise as the Wolf King, it quickly made a choice. I choose the second one. After hearing that, Claire pulled her face in, stared at the other party's eyes for a while, and then nodded, "This is not a lie, otherwise this sword will be split, I won't give you that much. Second chance." The Wolf King complained in his heart, "I only agreed when I knew you wouldn't give me a chance. If I could compromise like other humans, I wouldn't let you down." Huh. Claire tilted her head slightly, and the great sword in her hand swayed a few times. The Wolf King embarrassedly showed a pleasing smile. Damn, he forgot that the thoughts in his mind would be read by him. The person who knows the current affairs is a hero. Claire said to himself, but the Wolf King didn't know what this sentence meant, so he kept showing a pleasing smile. Come on, sign this thing. Claire took out a contract scroll from the space ring and put it in front of the Wolf King. He didn't dare to leave it like Rona like this newly conquered beast. Its life is firmly in hand. The Wolf King hesitated for a while. Once he signed this contract, it meant that his freedom would be gone. Freedom is precious, and love is more expensive. If it is for life, both can be thrown away. After Claire's great sword swung from its neck a few times from time to time, the Wolf King quickly figured out whether it was freedom or his own dog's life that was more important. After signing the contract, there will be an additional connection between Claire and the Wolf King. This is an unequal contract. Claire can torture the Wolf King to death with a single thought. It's all right, let it go. Claire ordered. Hunter also stood up and released the Wolf King under him. As soon as the Wolf King came out, he subconsciously bared his teeth at Claire to express his dissatisfaction. In the next second, he wailed softly, "Ow! Ow! Have you thought of resisting as soon as you were released?" Claire kicked the Wolf King forward a few meters. After more than 10 seconds of screaming, Claire let go of the torment of its spirit in the contract. At this time, the Wolf King could no longer stand up, and looked at Claire with fear in his eyes. Something like a dog has to be beaten to make it understand who is the owner. Oh, no, it seems to be a wolf. Forget it, a dog was also domesticated by a wolf. Claire walked over and kicked the opponent's huge body. Do you have a name? Would you like to call it Wonkai? It's also quite suitable for Nafu City. The Wolf King has experienced Claire's cruelty, and now he can only honestly say, my name is Fenrir. Che, I thought you didn't have a name, I'm just happy. Claire spread her hands helplessly, www.mtlnovel.com, and rubbed her head with her foot. Go and make your wolf cubs obedient. Stop roaring, they will also be wolves in the future. The wolf dynasty roared a few times at the trapped wolves, and the wolves soon quieted down. The wolf is a very strict creature. As long as Claire controls the Wolf King, the remaining wolves will not have much problem. Only then did Claire nodded with satisfaction, and called Rona over to treat the Wolf King. The bullet hit the opponent's body before, and it was still stuck in the flesh. The Wolf King also endured a bullet. The lightning strike technique, and the spiritual strangulation of the contract, are almost abolished now. A few hours later, a group of silver-white wolves emerged from the forest. Each wolf was about the size of a calf, and the Wolf King with smoother and shiny fur at the front had twice the size. It was Claire who was lying on the Wolf King's body. The other's body was furry and large enough for Claire to lie on it and watch the sky freely. From time to time, Claire slaps the opponent's dog on the head with a big sword. Don't think blindly, just hurry on your way. The Wolf King roared a few times and said dissatisfiedly, I didn't think about it. I didn't plan to resist you, okay, I was just thinking about mating. The matter of mating is also a nonsense. The lewdness and perverts you imagined disgust me. If you think about it again, I will castrate you. Claire slapped the other's dog on the head again with a big sword and threatened. If the perverted thoughts in the human mind are revealed, they will die directly, let alone the Wolf King of Warcraft. The Wolf King took a deep breath, but the wolf had to bow his head under the human crotch, so he could only suppress this grievance to the bottom of his heart. Chapter 63. Shredded Squid. As soon as Claire rode the Wolf King near Nafu City, he saw a caravan ready to fight. He looked nervously at the wolves on his side. When he got closer, the other party saw the Wolf King riding on the Wolf King. Claire breathed a sigh of relief. Claire also recognized the other party as a person in charge under Shane. Master Viscount, Guyan. The other party gave a proper salute, but a turbulent uproar broke out in his heart. The Lord Viscount actually subdued a group of monsters. Shaw N's iodized salt in the capital is all sold out. Claire guessed. That's right, the young master told us to wait until we come over to transport more goods. After a few days, the business in the royal capital has stabilized, and then come to visit you, Lord Viscount. Claire nodded. How much has the business expanded now? In some big cities in the kingdom, exclusive stores have already been opened, and they can be sold directly when the goods are in the past. Not bad. Claire raised her eyebrows. It seemed that her method had worked. He continued. Follow us, I will also return to Nafu City. As for iodized salt, a lot has been produced, which should be able to meet the current needs. Okay, Lord Viscount. The person in charge bowed and returned to the caravan and followed Claire back to the Viscount. As soon as the wolves entered the city of Nafu, they attracted a crowd of onlookers. Whether it was adults or children, they couldn't help but be amazed by these calf-like wolves. Wolf King, let it control the wolves under his hands, lest anyone dare to open his mouth and bite. Then, the knights came to disperse the crowd, and then the wolves were transported to the military camp. The Wolf King did not stay, but after he ordered the wolves to obey the management, he drove the caravan to the salt factory. The salt factory has produced nearly 10 tons of iodized salt these days, and the carpenters have also made corresponding salt boxes. After calling Reagan over, Claire left. Now he doesn't need to worry about these little things. Forceful. In the next few days, Claire has been training with the knights in the military camp with the Wolf King. Otherwise, the wolves will be a little disobedient when they are riding on their crotch. Obedience is a very simple thing. It is nothing more than giving some sweet dates to eat if you are obedient. If you are not obedient, you will have a meal with your head. In addition, the Wolf King is on the scene, and the speed of taming is very fast. The knights can now ride the wolf to make various slashing movements. As for the tacit cooperation in the future, it will take time to grind them, so there is no rush. But at least now you can fight against others when you ride on these mounts, and these hurricane wolves are wind-type monsters and are extremely fast. Even if you have a knight in full armor on your back, the speed can reach 3 times per second. 10 meters and it's still continuous, much faster than Hunt and the others running with their legs. This has finally solved one of Claire's most troublesome problems. In addition, these hurricane wolves have claws and magical attacks, and it is considered an extra combat power. Now the combat power of the Viscounty is finally a match for the previous Viscounty. It's time to fight. The Wolf King was kept by Claire in the Viscount mansion and became Claire's exclusive mount. There is no shortage of food, and Claire maintains a spiritual connection with it at any time. In the past few days, the Wolf King has given up the idea of rebelling, and has a little idea. You have to be beaten, and you can still have meat to eat honestly. Even a fool knows how to choose. At noon, Claire came out of the study and stretched out, not taking a nap. She had just finished reading a magic book about magic circles and was studying how magic circles could be transformed into productivity. Before lunchtime, Reagan also went out to run errands. Since he became an administrative officer and now Nafu City is engaged in construction, Reagan has been extraordinarily busy. Claire didn't care, she walked directly to the kitchen, planning to order Yuna to make a lunch. As soon as she walked to the door of the kitchen, Claire saw Yuna, who was squatting in the corner eating through the transparent glass. Claire thought of scaring the other party, walked over quietly, and suddenly shouted, "Yuna, what good food are you stealing?" Ah! Yuna jumped up in fright. She didn't expect a voice from behind. After seeing the person clearly, he breathed a sigh of relief. Who? It scared me to death, it's the young master. Then he felt that his reaction was too big, and his face became a little bit red. He hurriedly shoved the thing in his mouth and clapped his hands. Master, are you hungry? Well. Claire nodded, make me a meal first. Okay. Yuna muttered. What are you eating? Claire pointed to her mouth, which was still chewing, curiously. Yuna was embarrassed to say, it's nothing, the one my mother brought to me, it's not very delicious, it's just used to eat, you can sit in the restaurant first, I'll have lunch ready soon. Claire smiled and said, give me a taste too. Then she reached out to Yuna. Yuna was still embarrassed. Master, this is what we ordinary people eat, you are not used to it. She felt that she could not figure it out. It's all right, I'll patted my stomach. Claire couldn't help laughing and crying. Ah, this can't be a stomach pad, just some snacks. Claire made a fake face, hurry up and give it to me, or I'll get angry. Under Claire's threat, Yuna slowly took out a handful of strips from her arms and handed it over. Master, take it. Shredded squid. Claire reached out and picked up a few, put it in his mouth and chewed it a few times before he was sure, this is shredded squid. No wonder Yuna chewed it just now and didn't swallow it. Is it delicious? Yuna came over with anticipation. Delicious. Claire nodded. Although it wasn't as good as the well-made shredded squid in the previous life, it could still be used as a daily snack. Hee hee. Yuna showed a happy smile, and handed out the handful of shredded squid in her hand. If it's delicious, then, master, take more. Claire also smiled and took a few sticks, www.mtlnovel.com, but not all of them were enough to keep for little girls. It's really delicious, there's no such snack in the capital. As soon as he finished speaking, Claire's hand holding the squid shreds suddenly stopped, and a flash of light flashed in his mind. Yuna thought that there was something wrong with Claire eating this food, so she hurriedly pushed Claire. Master, what's wrong with you? Claire was stunned, her eyes were a little excited, and she quickly asked, does everyone here know how to do this? Yuna was a little confused, but she still said, I should be able to do it. I've been eating it since I was a child. Claire's eyes widened. He found another way to make money. Although it wasn't many, the key was to bring direct income to the female workers below. The large number of workers needed in the Viscounty are all adult men, even the workers in the salt factories are mostly men, because these are hard labor, and women are inferior to men in terms of strength, so they can provide women with there are basically few job opportunities, and women generally farm at home or do some chores in Nafu City to earn some money to support their families. Let's go. Stop cooking, take me to see your mother. Claire took Yuna's hand and walked out. Yuna was stunned. Why is she going to see her mother all of a sudden? This is more important than eating. As soon as he went out, Claire called out the name of the Wolf King, and the Wolf King ran over from his rest area very quickly. After he came lazily and was beaten by Claire, now he is finally interested. Taking Yuna to sit on the Wolf King's back, Yuna reached out and touched the soft fur on the Wolf King's back, and stars appeared in her eyes. You show the way, let's go to your house. Chapter 64, Family Workshop. Yuna's home lives in Nafu City, and with the speed of the Wolf King, it took less than a few minutes to reach her home. The house was a bit shabby, and it looked shabby from the outside, but Yuna didn't think there was anything to be ashamed of. Mom, I'm back. Claire also turned over from her back, turned around and instructed the Wolf King, stay here honestly, don't run around. Ow. The Wolf King whimpered a few times, lying on the ground and yawning. Then Claire followed Yuna into her house. As soon as she entered the door, she felt dark in front of her eyes. The room inside was very dark, and there was no magic lamp like the one in the Viscount's mansion. When she saw that there was only one window around, it was no wonder that the lighting was not enough. The room was dark, and the candles and oil lamps were only lit at night. I followed Yuna and walked a few steps inside, and when I entered the middle of the room, I felt a little light. The top here was hollowed out and there was enough light to shine in, and this was also the kitchen and the place where the sundries were placed. Why are you back, Yuna? A joyful voice came. Claire's eyes immediately looked over. He had seen Yuna's mother before when he treated her. Master said let me take him home to have a look. Yuna turned around, looked at Claire and said. Claire also smiled and nodded at Yuna's mother as a greeting. Lord Viscount. The joy in this voice was more than the excitement of seeing her own daughter. The woman came over and said gratefully, I heard that Yuna said that when I was sick before, it was Lord Viscount who saved me. I've never had a chance to thank you. Only Yuna conveyed her thanks for me. Claire waved her hand, it's just a small matter. Yuna told me that she has always worked hard in the Viscount mansion. Hearing Claire's compliment, Yuna lowered her head embarrassedly. She was stealing shredded squid in the kitchen and was caught by Claire just now. Thank you. Thank you. Yuna's mother kept repeating these two words. She didn't know how to express her gratitude to Claire. Mom, the young master has something to ask you this time. Yuna held her mother's hand forward. Is there anything the Viscount has to do? Say it anyway, as long as I can do it, I will do it for you. Looking at Yuna's mother who was planning to die heroically, Claire couldn't help laughing and took out the squid shreds from her arms. You made these shredded squid, right? Claire asked. Yuna's mother glanced at Yuna. Seeing that Yuna's eyes were also confused, she nodded, well, what's wrong? It's okay, do many people make shredded squid like this? Yes, in the past when taxes were high, because squid was cheap, many people would buy it and make it into dried squid as food. Although it wasn't enough, it was better than having nothing to eat. Squid is very common in Nafu City, right? It can be said that you can usually buy it at the aquatic store. Then can I trouble you to make it live for me to see? Claire said. That's fine, but, is there any difficulty? No, it's just that there are no squid at home. Claire was a little surprised, isn't your husband a fisherman? Why isn't there any squid at home? Generally, the salvaged goods are sold at the store. The squid is usually dried and made into shredded squid shortly after it is landed. The ones in Yuna's hands are the last stock. That's fine, I'll go get a few and bring them back. Claire said with a smile. He bought all the shops in Nafu City from the nobles. Not long after riding the Wolf King out, Claire walked back with a few squid. The reason why Yuna was not allowed to go was mainly because she was afraid that something might go wrong with her riding the Wolf King, and it would take too long to run away. Yuna's mother also took it over and started the preparations to take out the internal organs of the squid, boil the water, put the shredded squid in, cook the squid, and then scrape the dirt on its skin. Add some salt and seasoning to marinate for a few minutes, and then put it into a hot iron pot to start drying, and the squid becomes dry in more than 10 minutes. Then, the squid was torn open, shredded squid, then boiled with water again, then taken out to control the moisture, and then sprinkled with some seasonings. A serving of shredded squid was ready, put it on a plate and brought it to Claire. Lord Viscount, try it. After watching the manufacturing process for nearly an hour, Claire reached out and took the prepared shredded squid, put it in her mouth and chewed it for a while. It wasn't as delicious as Yuna's hand, which she just ate, and just wanted to ask what was going on. Yuna's mother was the first to answer, because it's baked, it doesn't taste as good as air-dried, it's chewy. Claire just nodded, then took out the shredded squid that Yuna got from Yuna before and tasted it. Although there was no obvious difference, it was still possible to taste it carefully. How many days would it take to make it like what Yuna ate? Claire asked. 3 or 4 days, but we won't go out to dry it. My husband will go out to dry the extra squid when he can't finish eating it. After watching the manufacturing process, Claire also probably understood the production and output of shredded squid. There are many parts of squid that can be used to make shredded squid, but the volume will shrink a lot after production. After getting the answer she wanted, Claire said, then don't bother, I'll go back first. Yuna's mother quickly pushed Yuna out. Hurry up, you have to go back to work. She was very honored that her daughter could find such a job. Reading www.yequanshu.com. You can spend more time with mom at home, it doesn't matter. Claire said. Unexpectedly, Yuna shook her head like a rattle. No. Young master hasn't eaten yet. Go back and cook for young master first. Besides, I can go home every week, so don't worry. Claire didn't force it either, and brought Yuna back to the Viscount mansion. As soon as she returned to the mansion, Claire met Reagan, who had rushed back from outside. Come here, Reagan. Reagan hurried over. What's the matter, young master? Go and put up an announcement. The Viscount mansion has been buying a lot of shredded squid for a long time, but all they want are dried in the best quality. Master, why do you want this? We can't finish eating so many shredded squid in the house. Regan thought it was Claire who wanted to eat it. It's not for eating, just do it, I'm naturally useful. As ordered. Poor Reagan was sent out again just as he was about to come back for a bite to eat. As for the price, the market will give the most suitable price range, so there is no need for Claire to worry, and Claire does not plan to lose money. This is to provide some women living in the viscounty with a stable job, making shredded squid. As long as they meet the standards, they will spend money to buy them. Similar to those family workshops in the previous life, they are responsible for the production. The squid shreds are then sold by themselves, which is equivalent to their own employees. Of course, the risks are borne by themselves. However, Claire's confidence in this snack is not small, mainly because it tastes good. There is no such thing in the capital, and it will definitely be sold. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 65. Really dare to sell. Build a market here. Claire pressed her index finger to a corner of the eastern part of the map of Nafta City. The architect scratched his head. That's all right, but what is the market? Lord Viscount. Claire doesn't find it surprising that there is no private ownership in Nafu City. Not only most of the small and medium-sized cities in the Nafu City Kingdom do not have the concept of private ownership. All the economy and shops in the city are monopolized by the nobility, basically a collection of the power to enrich those few people. For example, if Yuna's father went fishing and caught a lot of fish, but when he came back, he could only sell it to a shop specializing in aquatic products in Nafu City, that is, the shop where Claire went to get a few squid yesterday. Of course, these were before. The shops belonged to those nobles, and now they are all owned by Claire. If those fish are not sold to the aquatic products store, they will not be able to sell at all. If you dare to set up a stall, you will definitely be taken away within 10 minutes. This is the current situation of Nafta City before Claire came. In the case of selling to aquatic product shops, the bargaining power is not in the hands of the fisherman, but by the owner of the shop. Hey, if you think the price is low, don't sell it. Go out and see where else in Nafu City can accept your things except me. Not only fish, but other agricultural products such as wheat and other agricultural products, the residents of the Viscount have to sell them to the shops under the nobles in Nafu City, which is why they can earn so much money. Don't think this kind of system is very unreasonable. You must know that the state opened up the private sector during the reform and opening up in the 1990s. Before that, Claire had too many things to do after taking back those noble shops, so she put this matter on hold for a while, and now she is free. Of course, this matter has to be resolved, otherwise it is impossible for Nafu City to develop. A place to buy and sell goods, a place where buyers and sellers of goods are formally organized to trade together, A place where all the territorial residents can trade freely. Anyway, you can build it according to my blueprint. Claire will plan. The drawings were handed over. The architect picked it up and looked at it. It was not difficult. Compared with the sewer system, it was simply too simple. How many days can it be done? It's been like this for 2 days. Okay, let's get busy. After Claire sent the architect away, he called Reagan over and asked him to move all the shops under his hands to the east area of Nafford City. The north area was an industrial area, so he wanted to turn the east area into a trade area. District, those shops are just right in the eastern district. Although after the market is established, the profits of the shops under his control will be greatly reduced, but he, Claire, never scratches the money of the poor. His goal is the wealthy aristocrats. The money flowing out of the seam is more than the sum of all the money of the people in your own territory. Who will not scrape these people? Just after noon, Reagan came to report, Master, Your Excellency Shah-en is here. Huh. Claire was also a little surprised when she heard this, and stood up quickly. His caravan has only left for a week, why did he come here? Where is he now? I've been waiting in the parlor, Reagan replied. I'll go right now. Claire put down the magic book in her hand and walked from the 6th floor to the living room. As soon as he entered the door, Shane stood up. Lord Viscount, long time no see. Claire leaned over, stretched out her hand and said, please sit down. Then her body also sank into the sofa. Shane sat down again with the same smile on his face, then took out 7 sheets of paper from his arms and spread them out in front of Claire. This is? Claire asked suspiciously. This is the title deed for the shops in the capital and in the other 6 big cities. As agreed before, you account for 70% and I account for 30%. Claire raised her eyebrows and glanced at Shah-en with some surprise. This man is very good at doing things. He only said that the profit from the iodized salt sold would account for 70% of the profit. However, they took the initiative to divide the shops into profit. However, Claire did not refuse. After picking it up and looking at it, she put it into the space ring. She will also be a noble in the royal capital in the future. Immediately after, Shane introduced another purple card. This is the amethyst card from Temi Bank, and there are 320,000 gold coins in it. This is the profit of this time. You can use this amethyst card in any place in the kingdom. It can be used for consumption in the big cities. If the money is not too much, I will bring it back to you. Claire took the amethyst card and played it very well. He was no stranger to Temi Bank. Most of the Griffin family's money was deposited in this bank before, and the amethyst card was only worth more than 1 million gold coins. Only by depositing money can he own it. His 320,000 possessions should have been helped by Shah-en with the help of the power in his family. Now he doesn't need a lot of cash, and it's not bad to put it in the bank card. If he needs it in the future, he can have someone from Temi Bank deliver it directly without having to pick it up himself. Did it go well in the capital these days? Claire asked. Of course, everything is as you expected. After the news spread, the great nobles in the capital came to buy our iodized salt like crazy, and finally even copied the price of a box of iodized salt to 500 gold coins. The box has indeed exceeded my expectations. After the reputation of iodized salt was established in the capital, the shops in other places also opened very smoothly, and the 10 tons of iodized salt that was imported from here before were sold out quickly. So are you here to buy more goods? Claire asked while holding his chin, but he felt that things were not that simple, otherwise Shane wouldn't be able to make a trip. Sure enough, Shane shook his head. Something went wrong. Tell me in detail. The same product as ours appeared in the capital. www.mtlnovel.com also sells iodized salt, and the price is dozens of times lower than mine, which has threatened our products. Claire's pupils shrank, and she murmured, so fast. Claire had imagined that her iodized salt would be cracked by the nobles who sold salt, but she didn't expect them to be so fast. The source of iodine was cracked within a month of the sale, but it's not surprising. Tens of thousands of times the profit is enough to make them jealous enough to kill their own hearts. Plus this is a magical world. They can spend tens of thousands of gold coins to hire an archmage, or even hundreds of thousands to hire a magician. Shalai specializes in researching what the iodized salt they sell is more than their salt, and then deduces what raw materials are needed. What's the meaning? It's nothing, you didn't cut the price, did you? That's not true. Shane was a businessman who knew that he was selling luxury goods. Once the price of his products dropped and he wanted to fight a price war with the other party, it would be very difficult to get the original price back again. It's just that after the arrival of the iodized salt that came later, the price of 100 gold coins was reduced to about 80 gold coins, and it has remained within this price range since then. How much are they selling for? 3 or 4 gold coins. They really dare to sell it, and the cost of a pound is less than 10 copper coins. Claire chuckled. They will definitely lower the price in the future. Claire expects that the real price of iodized salt should be around 13 or 14 copper coins. If it is higher, it will be unaffordable for ordinary people. Then what should we do? Shane was not in a hurry to see Claire, and his anxiety gradually eased. Simple. Do you know anyone in the palace? Chapter 66. Compare. My father used to be the treasurer of the palace, and he has something to do with the palace. Shane replied. That's easy. Claire took out a box of salt from the space ring, opened it and pushed it over. This is the freshly made refined salt, as fine as sand and as white as snow. Claire introduced. Shaw-en dipped a little with his finger and put it in his mouth. After tasting it, he asked, is this any different from the previous iodized salt? There's no difference, it's just one more process to grind the fine salt to make it look better. Claire knocked on the table. Find your relationship in the palace, and supply this batch of salt to the palace. Money is not important, free supply is fine. Shaw-en put down the salt in his hand and asked, please elaborate. Turn this batch of salt into salt, for the royal family, and sell it for 1,000 gold coins in the store. Shaw-en frowned and said, is 1,000 gold coins too expensive? Claire burst out laughing, this salt is not for sale. If anyone wants to buy it, sell it to him, ha 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 ha. Like those luxury brands in the previous life, every year, a luxury product that is very expensive but very impractical and does not meet the aesthetics of ordinary people is released. Do you really think that this kind of product is for sale? It's just for comparison. You go to see a bag that sells for tens of thousands and think it's very expensive, but when you turn your head and see a plastic bag sells for hundreds of thousands, it doesn't seem that the bag is too expensive when you look back. Went. In the same way, everyone thinks that iodized salt of 70 or 80 gold coins is expensive, but once there is a comparison, the iodized salt specially provided by the royal family actually sells for 1,000 gold coins. Also reasonable. First of all, make our products into products exclusively for the royal family, and improve the style of the products, so that they are not on the same level as those iodized salts outside, and the nobles like to pursue something different, so that they can show their difference from ordinary people. If our iodized salt can be bought even by people with lower status than them, then they will no longer pursue our products and feel that this product is related to their status, does not match. And the royal family's name is just enough to satisfy their vanity. In order to distinguish themselves from small and medium-sized nobles, and the difference between commoners, they will definitely not buy those sold outside that can be bought with a little money. Iodized salt. The only iodized salt that can be selected is our store, and the iodized salt of 1,000 gold coins is not for sale, but for comparison. Compared with the iodized salt sold for 1,000 gold coins, 7 or 8 10 gold coins of iodized salt seems reasonable, and they're not that bad. Then we designed 2 lower price ranges for iodized salt, which are aimed at the small and medium aristocracy and the slightly rich merchants and the petty middle class in the capital. The small and medium aristocrats ask them to spend money to buy iodized salt of 70 or 80 gold coins. It may be distressing, but if they give out an iodized salt of 20 or 30 gold coins, if they feel that they can also afford a brand that the nobles can afford, they will definitely be willing to pay the money. The price at the bottom is 5 or 6 gold coins. The same is true of iodized salt, aimed at businessmen and petty bourgeoisie who want to emulate the life of the aristocracy. Don't think that this kind of routine won't work. There are many tricks in the past life, but Claire's poverty has never let those capitalists succeed. Shane nodded while listening, admiring Claire more and more in his heart. Of course, these alone are not enough. You spend money to advertise. What ad? Claire knocked on the table. The iodized salt from Nafu City has the best ratio of iodine. The iodine content in iodized salt is more in line with the iodine element required by the human body. Shaw-en's eyes lit up and excitedly said, This is to tell them from the side that the iodized salt sold outside is not the best ratio, and it does not meet the iodine element required by the human body, right? That's right, you can't be distinguished from the iodized salts outside by the price alone. There must be something different to distinguish them from them. This is the same as the advertisement of the air conditioner brand of Claire's previous life. Gree masters the core technology. As soon as the brand's air conditioner is sold in this advertisement, how can ordinary people know what the core technology is? But you will subconsciously feel that this brand of air conditioner is better than other brands. In the same way, these nobles will not study what is the best ratio of iodized salt. As long as you give them an idea, the iodized salt from Nafu City is better than the outside. The willingness to pay for these iodized salts can not only show their noble status, but also not feel that they are paying IQ tax. The wooden box with iodized salt will also need to be changed. The salt in it doesn't change. It doesn't need to be changed, the exterior packaging is different. I will ask the carpenter below to come up with 2 more boxes that are not as gorgeous as the previous wooden box, but you have to find someone to do the box specially for the royal family. Fucheng's current conditions do not allow it for the time being. Clear. Shane licked his tongue, I'll just find a goldsmith to create this exclusive box. Shane also doesn't expect how many boxes, for the royal family, will be sold, but the cards must be given enough. After Shane listened to Claire's words, his blood boiled, and he had to say that every time he talked with Claire, he gained something new, which was one of the reasons why he admired Claire. By the way, here is a new item that can be sold in the store. Shane became interested. What product? Claire asked Yuna to put her shredded squid on a plate and bring it over. The shredded squid below has not been collected, so she can only be wronged. What is this? Shane asked suspiciously. A kind of seaside snack, try it. Claire invited. Then I'm welcome. Shane picked up one and put it in his mouth and chewed it, savoring the taste of shredded squid. Seeing that the other party was almost eating, Claire asked, how does it taste? Sha-en, who has traveled all over the world, must not be able to eat the delicacies of many places, and he has a certain right to speak. It tastes good, it should be sold. Sha-en commented objectively. How much do you think it should be sold for? Claire asked. www.mtlnovel.com. Shane thought for a while. A dozen copper coins per pound, other snacks in the capital are about the same price. Claire shook her head. No, it sells 5 silver coins a pound. This price is a bit exaggerated. Shane said in shock. It's not an exaggeration, it's just right. Claire said softly, have you forgotten who our customers are? For example, when you are shopping in the supermarket, you see that an ice cream sells for more than 30 yuan. No matter how good it looks, you are not willing to spend this money. But if you go to a high-end restaurant to eat by yourself and see ice cream at the same price, you don't mind spending more than 30 yuan to buy one and try it. Are these $30-odd different in value? That's not true. $30 is $30, and it's the same wherever you put it. It's just a comparison. Since those people are willing to spend dozens of gold coins to buy iodized salt, it means that they don't care about spending 5 more silver coins to buy a piece of shredded squid to taste. Compared with gold coins, the shredded squid of 5 silver coins can only be regarded as small money. But if you put shredded squid outside to compete with those snacks, everyone sells a dozen copper coins, why can you sell 5 silver coins? No wonder someone bought it. Shane was very smart, and he understood immediately what Claire meant. This is a little bit of my selfishness. Claire said, this was indeed made to help the people below Nafu City to increase their income, which is not at all profitable for Shane's business. No problem, I'm worried that the products in the store are too monotonous. Shane also smiled. By the way, this is not the only thing I came to see you this time. Chapter 67. Award. What else is there? Claire asked suspiciously. Mrs. Sophia, the Countess of the August family, intends to cooperate with us to sell the goods in our store together. Oh, Claire said in surprise, what's the background of this? Like my family, it's a family that deals in business. She is on the same level as my father, so she shouldn't be interested in our petty fights, but she still found me on a trustee and said it's about cooperating. Does she have any advantages? The stores below her are all over the kingdom. It is said that Temi Bank is also a part of her. If we connect with her, we will reduce a lot of costs, and we will only make more money and not lose money. Shaw-en was afraid Claire continued to explain unclearly. If we want to open a store in every city in the kingdom, it will cost a lot of money. If that's the case, why don't you cooperate? Claire shrugged. As long as you can make money, why not do it? Shaw-en also smiled and said, I think so too, but you are the major shareholder of the store, so I came here to ask your opinion. In a few days, I'll go to the capital in person and bring new merchandise with me. I'll just send someone to deliver things like shredded squid. You don't need to trouble the Viscount. Claire smiled mysteriously. It's not just shredded squid. Shane was surprised. Could it be that there are new products? Crack. As soon as Claire snapped her fingers, Yuna brought 2 bowls of soup and placed them in front of Shane. This is. Do you taste it first and see if the taste is different? Claire smiled slightly. Looking at the pretending to be mysterious Claire, Shane used a spoon to scoop a spoonful of soup into his mouth. After tasting it carefully, he felt that there was no surprise. Then he put the spoon into the second bowl of soup, and the soup had just entered his mouth. Inside, Shane's eyes seemed to light up, and after tasting it, he impatiently scooped up another spoonful and put it in his mouth. It tastes so fresh, Shane exclaimed. Claire also took out a brand new wooden box from the space ring just in time, opened it and pushed it in front of Shane, and introduced, this is MSG. The iodized salt has been manufactured. How could Claire forget about the condiment MSG? It was extracted from kelp anyway, so it wasn't too much effort. Is this bowl of soup so delicious because of this addition? Yes, what do you think of the price? Claire said easily. Shane smiled, it's the same price as iodized salt. After Claire's ideological baptism, he has become a qualified profiteer who specializes in cheating nobles. What is there to earn the money of the poor? Where can the money of the nobles come fast? Yes, but it has not been mass-produced yet. When I arrive in the capital, I will bring it to you together. No problem. The two chatted for a while. After Claire invited Shaw-en to have a meal, Shaw-en returned to the capital and did not stay in Nafu City for a long time. 2 days later, the market in the East District was finally built, and there were many people watching. Claire had asked Reagan to publicize this long ago, but the crowds who came were all standing outside and no one dared to go in and set up a stall. Is this a market? It's different from those shops. The shops have all moved here. In the future, if we want to buy things, we have to come here to buy things. The Viscount has issued an announcement. You can buy and sell things at will here. You don't have to take your own things to sell in the shops. Not only do you have less money and sometimes you get more and you don't charge, but you can sell as much as you want here. Really? Then why doesn't anyone sell things? You're stupid, take a look first, and wait for others to enter before entering. What if there is any problem? There was no such thing as a market in Nafu City before. This is an announcement issued by the Viscount. You don't even believe the Viscount. Don't talk nonsense. I naturally believe in the Viscount, but even if the Viscount is not here, I feel a little flustered. Let's go after others, so be safe. Reagan looked at the people who were standing outside the market and didn't dare to take a step inside. The young master gave up so much of his profits to you, and you were all too scared. You can come in and set up a stall with only 3 copper coins. Regan shouted loudly. When they heard that they had to spend 3 copper coins in advance, the resistance of those people became stronger, and they took a few steps back. Before they made any money, they had to spend 3 copper coins first. They were reluctant. Mainly because Claire didn't come to the scene, and Reagan didn't have his appeal here at all. If Claire was there, these people would definitely spend those 3 copper coins without hesitation. Regan had a bitter face. He thought it was enough for him, but he didn't expect it to be so troublesome without the young master. He quickly instructed his subordinates, quickly go to the Viscount's mansion and invite the young master over. Clear. The man quickly got into the carriage and drove in the direction of the Viscount's mansion. At this time, there was a woman in the crowd who was very hesitant with 2 baskets of agricultural products. She was a single mother, and she went to the wild to pick some agricultural products to sell in Nafu City, but the purchase price in the store was always low. I can't even get enough food for the price I get. So when I first heard the news about the market, I was looking forward to the day when the market was built. It's just that she finally waited, but no one dared to go in and set up a stall. Even though she believed in the Viscount's policy, she didn't dare to stand out in the eyes of the public and became the first one to set up a stall in the market. He looked around for a long time, but still no one wanted to go in. And she also went to those stores to ask about her 2 baskets of agricultural products. Even if she received all of them, it would only be 10 copper coins, and she could not even get back the cost. There are still children at home waiting for her to buy food and go back. If the 2 baskets didn't sell for the corresponding price, the family would only be able to eat the things they picked in the next few days, and they might even be hungry. But what she didn't know was that the purchase price was deliberately lowered by Claire in order to attract more people to the market. The crowd was still chatting non-stop, and the woman's hand holding the basket turned white with increasing strength. As if to make up her own mind, she closed her eyes directly, turned away from the crowd, and moved towards Reagan. Walked over. These are 3 copper coins. Her voice was as weak as a mosquito. After handing the 3 copper coins to Reagan, he entered the market without even daring to hear the outside voice. The people outside were talking a lot. Someone paid to go in. I went in, but no one might buy it. That's right, I thought about it just now, but it makes sense to hear you say that. It's too early, I'm more willing to go to the store to buy it. Me too. Listening to the discussion outside, the woman lowered her head and began to struggle in her heart whether the 3 copper coins she spent were worth it. Quote. Gradually, the voices outside suddenly became silent, but she still did not dare to look up, for fear that what she saw were those faces mocking her ignorance. Until a gentle voice came from in front of him, how much is this corn? Since she kept her head down, www.mtlnovel.com, did not see any guests coming, and she became panicked because of her inexperience. He raised his head quickly and said, "Ah. This corn is 1 copper coin and 3 pieces. If you buy more, I can give you a few more." Lord Viscount. Only then did she understand why the voices outside had dropped, and it turned out that the Viscount was here. Okay. Claire picked up 3 corns at random, then took out 3 golden coins from his arms and put them in the other's hand. Lord Viscount, this is too much. The woman quickly stood up and wanted to return the gold coins. Too much. I think it's just right. If you believe that I am willing to spend 3 copper coins then the 3 gold coins I will give you will be your reward. Claire turned back. The onlookers outside looked at the 3 gold coins, their eyes dazed. Most of them had never seen so much money in their lives. Before they could react, Claire rode the Wolf King and left, leaving only the shocked woman and the sluggish onlookers outside the market. It wasn't until half a minute after Claire left that the crowd of onlookers outside reacted and rushed towards Regan. Lord Regan, these are my 3 copper coins. I'm going to go in and set up a stall. These are my 3 copper coins, don't stop me. Do you have anything to sell? Go in and set up a stall. I don't care, I'm going to occupy a booth. Who is the person who said that he will have a few more days? I plan to go up. If you hadn't stopped me, I would have been the first to enter the market and get a reward from the Viscount. After Claire left, the market became lively. Chapter 68. A long way to go. Morning, Big Brother. Meili jumped in from the Viscount's mansion with her school bag on her back. Only then did Claire look away from the magic book in front of her in a trance and look at Meili. Since the school started, Meili has been living in the school, and Claire has not seen her for a long time. With a smile, school is over. Meili ran to Claire's side and nodded vigorously, yeah. Today is the weekend, school is over. Claire also sat up from the reclining chair, rubbed Meili's little head, and messed up her hair. Then what did you learn in school? Meili broke free from Claire's claws, shook her head like a kitten with wet hair, and used both hands to get her hair back. I've learned a lot. Now I've learned addition and subtraction. Meili said proudly. Then let me test you a question. Even if you say it, Meili will definitely answer. Meili's eyes flashed with confidence. If you have 3 apples, but there are 4 children in front of you, how can you divide them so that they will not resent you? Hey! Meili bit her fingers, her confusion was beyond his knowledge. This is multiplication and division, right? The teacher said that it will be taught next week. Meili can't, please tell me the answer, eldest brother. Claire closed the magic book. If it were me, I would eat 2 apples, then take out the only remaining apple, and say to them, whoever wins, this apple is who? Meili tilted her head full of question marks. He hesitated. Is this multiplication and division? Claire took the opportunity to grab her little head and ravaged her. I'm just kidding, don't learn blindly, just go play. Mei Li was still confused, but she still put her school bag on the desk beside Claire. Leave the school bag here first, I'm going to mop the floor. Claire stopped her. I finally took a vacation, won't you go home? You don't need to clean the house. No, Grandpa Regan said that I am a little maid. When I grow up, I will apply for a job at the Viscount's mansion. I can't slack off in my work. And my brother will come to pick me up soon. Claire didn't stop her either. She shouldn't be tired from cleaning the floor, so she picked up the magic book and read it again. After a while, the sound of hooves came from outside the door, and Claire's attention was attracted again. Lord Viscount. The other party greeted him first. It was only later that Claire realized that it was Melly's older brother, Crane, who was still the same sunny big boy as before, and nodded, Are you coming to pick up your sister home? Crane scratched his head embarrassedly, dismounted quickly, and trotted over. Yes, today is the day to go home to visit relatives, and the military camp is closed. Crane explained again. The captain let us go home to ride the horses. Claire understood what the other party meant and waved her hand. It's all right, ride back faster, this is. Claire said, looking at the thing that Crane was holding in his hand. Crane quickly picked it up and showed it. This is the meat and some food I bought at the market with my salary. This is my first time returning home after being a knight, so I want to buy something delicious to go back. Crane felt a little embarrassed. It felt like a beggar showing off to the rich how good he is now. Very good, isn't this your wish? Claire encouraged. Crane nodded vigorously. He never thought that the man he met that day would actually change his fate. Go and call Melly out. Okay. Goodbye, Lord Viscount. After Melly wiped the floor clean, she came back and picked up her school bag and sat on the horse. Crane hugged her from behind and wouldn't fall off. Goodbye, big brother. Melly waved her hands at Claire. Claire also smiled and waved goodbye. After Melly left, Claire hadn't read a few pages of the book when another figure walked out of the Viscount's mansion and attracted his attention. Where is Yuna going? Claire simply put the magic book on the stone table beside her. Today is the end of the month and it's my turn to rest. I've already prepared my lunch, master, I'll go home and I'll be back in the evening for dinner. Yuna's face was also filled with a bright smile. In her hands, she tightly held the 25 silver coins that Regan gave them today. That was the money she wanted to take back to her mother. The 4 silver coins that were recruited from the beginning had skyrocketed in less than a month. 25 silver coins. She earns more than her father. When I go back this time, I can tell my father that I don't need him to do such dangerous work as sea fishing. In this way, I can spend more time with my mother at home. Every time I think of this, Yuna is excited for a while, and she can finally do something for her family. Go. Claire also smiled and waved. After Yuna left, Claire didn't want to continue reading. She put the magic book in the space ring, stood up from the reclining chair and stretched. It's all gone, I'll go out for a walk too. Claire called for the Wolf King. After these days of training, he became a lot more obedient. As soon as Claire called, he ran over. Leaning on the Wolf King's back, Claire was stopped by a voice as soon as she walked out of the gate of the Viscount mansion. Lord Viscount, wait a moment. Claire got up immediately and looked over. The one who shouted was a very familiar woman. Although the man was somewhat afraid of the huge Wolf King, he overcame his fear and trotted all the way to approach Claire. When I got close to Claire, I remembered, you were the one at the market yesterday. Yes. The woman nodded vigorously. She didn't expect Claire to remember herself. Do you have anything to do with me? These 3 gold coins are back to you. The other party said and put the 3 golden coins back into Claire's hands. Claire was a little stunned. These 3 gold coins are nothing to me, just hold them. Unexpectedly, the woman shook her head vigorously. Yesterday, when I got these 3 gold coins, my heart was pounding, and after thinking about it, I can't take this money, although these money are very good to me. Help! I'm a little embarrassed to talk about it in my heart, but I'm afraid that I won't have the intention to continue to work hard after I bring it. The woman said with a smile on her face. Besides, after Lord Viscount came to my place to buy things yesterday, many people also came to buy things from me, and they sold them all quickly. Today, I am from outside. The things we picked have also been sold out, so I have been waiting here for you early in the morning. The purpose is to return these 3 gold coins to you. Claire looked at the other party's sincere eyes and didn't seem to be lying, so she took back the 3 gold coins. Is the sales in the market okay? Very good. Thank you, Lord Viscount. When she talked about the woman, she became excited and took out 3 silver coins from her arms. This is what I got from selling things in 2 days. It was impossible to have that many before. Thank you. Thank you. Just saying thank you, the woman shed tears, took out a piece of brown sugar and choked up. I can finally buy brown sugar for my children that everyone else can eat. Now, they are very sensible and would never tell me that they like to eat this kind of thing, but how can children not like candy? They can only swallow while others eat. Claire took a deep breath. If you have time, you can ask Reagan and ask how the shops in the East District are rented out. Claire didn't know if she could understand it either. Anyway, she had already pointed this out. It depends on whether the other party could understand it. Next, Claire plans to vigorously develop the trade area in the East District. Most of the shops in his hands are turned into wholesalers who specialize in buying goods from outside to sell to local merchants at low prices, and then rent out the shops there for the first 3 months of the price. Free, strongly encourage the private sector. This is almost the same as a policy of reform and opening up in the 1990s in the previous life. As long as you follow the general trend, you will definitely make money, so that sentence also gave the woman a chance to make a fortune. But this is also an opportunity for everyone in Nafu City to make a fortune. It depends on whether some of them will grasp it. Almost all of Nafu City are now poor, and they can't play a role in promoting the development of Nafu City. First, a group of middle classes must be created, such as businessmen and specialized technical personnel, and the trade area of Claire's East District is one of them. A strategy. I don't know if the other party understood, but after thanking him again and again, he left the Viscount mansion. Looking at the opponent's back, Claire couldn't help sighing. Although there are some achievements, there is still a long way to go. Chapter 69. Target, Royal Capital. After walking out of the Viscount mansion, Claire pondered for a while, and it seemed that there was nowhere to go. Going to the market in her capacity would cause congestion, and the barracks was a holiday now, so she could only go to Rona's hospital to see it. Look, see how the seed you gave her is growing now. The Wolf King didn't dare to run too fast in the city. He wouldn't run into people, but he could scare people. Walking slowly towards the direction of the hospital, the pedestrians stopped their steps when they saw Claire, and greeted Claire. Your Excellency the Viscount, Guyan. Long live the Viscount. Claire also nodded in response, but gave up after a few minutes. Too many people greeted him with a little neck pain. They simply lied on the Wolf King's back and pretended to be invisible, but even so, the people were watching. After reaching him, he stopped and saluted. Walking to a crowded place, Claire gradually heard the conversation between them. Hey, look, this is Lord Viscount's mount. I'm not blind. The person lying on it is still the Viscount. Do you think the Viscount is too tired to fall asleep? Let's keep our voices down. Understood, but what are you doing here? Go to night school. Huh, isn't the night school only open at night? What are you going to do at noon now? What do you know? I've been studying hard every day these days, and now I can almost recognize and write commonly used common languages. Now the class that starts at noon is an arithmetic class. I really don't know. I haven't been to the night school for a few days, but what's the use of learning arithmetic? What do you know? The course taught by the Viscount is definitely useful. I have learned the 99 multiplication table now. I don't know now. Anyway, it will definitely come in handy in the future. Listening to their conversation, Claire turned her head slightly and glanced at the two of them. Sometimes it's not that you can't grasp the opportunity, but that when the opportunity comes to you, you don't have the ability to grasp it. Claire opened the course of arithmetic. The purpose of the course is indeed to train the first batch of merchants in Nafu City. It is impossible for him to help all the people in the Viscount like a dough. Given the opportunity, it depends on who can grasp it. It's not far from the hospital, and Claire rode the Wolf King to the hospital quickly. Claire rolled over from the Wolf King's body, her thumb pressed against her index finger, and a confused sound came from her mouth. Bew. The Wolf King looked suspiciously at Claire, who was bewildering. What are you doing? Stay honest and don't run around. If someone touches you, you call out. The Wolf King shook his head, ignored him, and fell directly to the ground. As soon as Claire approached the door of the hospital, a man with a bandage on his hand walked out. Lord Viscount Guyan. The other party greeted quickly. Claire also nodded, as the arm healed. It was broken by a falling stone during construction. Fortunately, Dr. Rona brought it back with his excellent medical skills. After a few days of rest, he will recover. That's good. Ordinary people's illnesses and injuries are easy to treat, but if a silver knight like Hunter or a bronze knight who has just practiced vindictiveness, it will be much more troublesome to treat. Their bodies are already very different from those of ordinary people. If there is a big gap, more advanced medicines must be used to treat their injuries, and the same is true for magicians. After the people left, Claire walked into the hospital. The inside is still full of greenery, and as soon as I walked in, I felt a cool breeze. Rona raised her head and stared at Claire at the door with wide eyes. She opened her mouth. Claire, thank you, you're welcome. Then she frowned again and shook her head in dissatisfaction. Claire hurriedly threw away the mental connection. You just learned these 3 words. What were you going to say? I want to say why are you here? Claire teased. Let's see how your common language is. Rona's face flushed red again, and she said angrily, you're laughing at me again. Then he touched a cup on the table and smashed it over. Claire flicked to the side and took the handle of the cup. With a set of smooth movements, it was not difficult for him as a mage. He then walked over with the cup, put it back in place, and said with a smile, just kidding, although I don't know many words, at least the pitch is accurate. I already know more than a dozen words, and I'll definitely be able to learn it if you give me some time. I came this time to see how the seed is growing now. Claire asked her purpose of the trip. Now it can be concluded that it is a magical plant. It grows very slowly. You can see it with me. Rona took Claire to the backyard, which was also a small yard, mainly where Rona used to grow herbs dug outside. Going to the corner, Rona pointed to a small tree that was almost 1 person tall and said, this is the tree from which the black seeds germinate. I have tried its leaves and roots, but there is no special effect, magic power. It should be in the fruit that came out. Is this called slow growth? Claire exclaimed as she looked at the little tree that was almost taller than herself, knowing that it hadn't been a week since he gave the seeds to Rona. It's very slow. I use elf magic to spawn it every day. If it were any other tree, it would have grown into a towering tree by now, and it's still a young seedling. Do you think it's slow? After listening to Lorna's words, www.mtlnovel.com, Claire looked at the small tree carefully. It didn't look anything special, but he could feel the magic power flowing in the roots and stems above it. It was definitely a magical plant. When will the result come out? Claire asked. Rona thought for a while. It's probably more than 20 days, and I can't determine the exact time. That's about the same. I just want to go out. Hearing Claire's words, Rona's mood fluctuated obviously. Claire asked, what's wrong? Where are you going? Go to the capital to talk about business, and come back after talking. There was nothing to hide, Claire simply said it. As soon as she finished speaking, Claire laughed in her heart. How could it feel like running a business? What is running a business? Rona asked curiously. How many common languages do you know? I'll test you. Is there a connection between this? Rona was still a little uncomfortable with the sudden change in the topic. Claire opened her mouth and came. Of course, you know a lot of common language, don't you understand what it means to run a business? I feel that you are fooling me, but our spirits are still connected. Rona asked condescendingly, standing on tiptoe. You are so smart, can I deceive you? Rona frowned and fell into deep thought. He was right in saying that. How could I be fooled by him when I was so smart, but the emotions that came from my spiritual connection were obviously wrong. Oh no, why did you run away? When Rona came back to her senses, Claire had already walked to the door. Go back and pack your luggage, and leave tomorrow. Target. Royal Capital. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 70, Wineholder. It has been 2 or 3 days since I left Nafu City, and I am getting closer and closer to the capital. Claire was lying in the carriage at this time, and without bringing anyone over, she brought the Wolf King over as a mount. Since he didn't want to walk, he wanted to get into the carriage and was kicked off by Claire. followed by a row of carriages, all the grooms that Claire selected from the original shop to deliver the goods. The carriages were loaded with monosodium glutamate, shredded squid, and wooden boxes. There were no guards accompanying him along the way, and there were several fourth-level magic scrolls in Claire's space ring, and he was not afraid of any robbers who would dare to come and rob. If there is a robber at the level of an archmage, then he will consider himself unlucky, and he has become an archmage, and he is still doing this kind of stealth. What can he do? It is impossible to invite them to do such a thing with 100,000 gold coins. The cargo of my convoy has not reached 100,000 gold coins. The closer you are to the capital, the more horses and convoys you will encounter, and the safer you will be. Suddenly the carriage paused, and Claire sat up in shock. The driver outside explained in a panic, "Lord Viscount, there are strange birds in the sky." Claire opened the curtains, leaned on the window and looked up at the sky. With his knowledge, he quickly recognized it. It was the transportation mount of the Royal Capital Academy of Magic. The light-chasing bird could spread its wings up to more than 200 meters, and could easily carry hundreds of people on its back. It was said to be the Royal Capital Academy of Magic. It was a hybrid of a magister which was very fast but had little attack power, and was later used as a means of transportation. But it's not something that ordinary people can afford, at least with Claire's current net worth, it's completely unaffordable, and the threat from the air is also very big. Because its own strength is too weak, it generally has to be followed by an archmage-level wizard to resist the interference and sneak attacks of other air monsters. Claire also saw the teenagers with their heads stretched out from time to time on the bird's back, and their eyes were full of anticipation. He said to himself, this time period should be the time for admissions to the Magic Academy. These should be the children of nobles from various places. Magic is not the same as fighting spirit. Generally, only those with some wealth in the family can practice it. Except for some really talented magicians, most of the magicians are from nobles. Otherwise, it would cost dozens of gold coins to do a random experiment. But your family's income doesn't exceed 3 or 4 gold coins a year, what kind of magic are you doing? The Magic Academy officially entered the school at the age of 16. When Claire's family was still in the middle, his father spent tens of thousands of gold coins every year to hire some senior wizards to teach him to learn magic. At that time, you can directly enter the Royal Capital Magic Academy as a junior mage. But it is a pity that Claire finally learned the ranks of junior mages. If she entered the Magic Academy, she would definitely be a lot ahead of the rest of the students. However, when the family went bankrupt, she could only return to the viscounty to inherit the territory. However, the strength of these noble children sitting on the chasing bird is definitely not as strong as Claire's previous strength. The truly powerful nobles either live in the royal capital, or they live in the big cities in the kingdom, and there are also special magic schools in those big cities, so you don't have to spend a lot of time here to study. Even if you really admire the Magic Academy of the royal capital, you won't come with so many people on the light-chasing bird. Lower their status. It's all right, let's go. Claire pulled down the curtain and instructed. The coachman took a few more glances in surprise, then reluctantly took his eyes back and continued to drive the horse forward. After another half-day's journey, Claire finally saw the city gate of the royal capital. From a distance, it looked like a hill, much more imposing than Nafu City. Claire touched her nose. I'm back in less than a month. After arriving at the gate of the royal capital, Claire got off the carriage and rode on the Wolf King. These goods have to go through several layers of inspections before entering the capital. You can just hand them over to the people below, and you don't have to follow. Just come and pick it up. The soldiers guarding the city didn't react too much when they saw the Wolf King under Claire's seat. They were used to seeing these nobles who rode strange monsters in and out of the capital. However, the leader at the head still politely called Claire, "Dear Viscount, your mount needs to be subject to some control, otherwise it will not be able to enter the capital." Claire nodded, and passed the information to the Wolf King to let him not resist. Did you see that the soldiers guarding the city are all silver-level soldiers, and their captains are even gold-level knights who can cut you in half with a single knife, so be careful not to roam around in the capital, understand? Quote. The Wolf King whimpered a few times, and then he honestly put on a metal ring like a collar, which is a magic tool that can instantly release electric magic to paralyze the opponent's body when the beast goes crazy and bites people everywhere. Every monster that enters the capital must wear it. The capital is divided into an inner city and an outer city. There are more residents living in the outer city, while the number of people living in the inner city is not so small. It can also be considered that the rich merchants are nobles living in the inner city, while the outer city has less people. Most of them were ordinary residents. Of course, there were exceptions. 4 of the 5 churches were in the outer city. Among them, the main church in the kingdom was also in the outer city. Nearly half of the largest magic academy was in the outer city. There is no obvious architectural blockage between the inner and outer cities, which is a regional concept formed spontaneously by the residents of the royal capital. The store that Shane opened was in the inner city. Claire rode the Wolf King to the inner city. As soon as he entered the inner city, Claire could clearly feel the difference between the inner city and the inner city, as if walking from a residential area. As in the business district, a very obvious change can be seen. I seem to have forgotten to ask where Shane opened that store. Claire scratched her head. But I didn't care, anyway, if you are so famous, you should be able to find it if you ask anyone. Claire set her eyes on a girl who seemed to be waiting in front of her. Excuse me, do you know where iodized salt is sold? Are you calling me? The girl turned her head and asked, pointing to herself. Only then did Claire see clearly that there were 2 cat ears on the top of the other's head that were different from humans. Cat ears girl. Claire secretly said in her heart. Well, can you tell me where the store that sells iodized salt is? Claire asked again. The cat-eared lady showed a sweet smile when she saw Claire's clothes. She pointed to the pub not far away and said, Don't worry, let's have a drink first, and I'll take you there in person after drinking. Claire was stunned for a moment. When he first entered the capital, he encountered a wine holder. So he refused. Well, I'm not an adult and can't drink. It's all right, this young master, no one else will know about you and me. The cat-ear girl threw a wink at Claire, and deliberately lowered her body to reveal a large piece of snow. www.mtlnovel.com. The corner of Claire's mouth twitched, and he kicked the Wolf King secretly, signaling it to leave quickly. He didn't want to be entangled by the half-orc. I'm allergic to alcohol, Claire said expressionlessly. Cat-ear Niang took a few steps forward again, bringing the distance between the two of them a little bit closer. It's okay to do other things without drinking. People can get drunk even if they drink juice. Hey! The Wolf King showed a fierce expression and frightened the other party back a few steps. As Claire's mount, he still doesn't understand whether Claire is tempted. You ugly hairless bastard. Please get out of the way, or my prosperous wealth will bite. Seeing that Claire couldn't be fooled, the other party could only stomp angrily and turn away. Looking at Claire's back, the cat-eared girl said angrily, It's obviously very useful to these little boys, why don't you eat this soft and hard? The status of orcs is not high in the kingdom. They are usually sold in the form of slaves. When Claire was in the capital, he heard that a nobleman also bought a large number of orcs. A prostitute, but after a long time, there are some free people, but they are also engaged in some low-level jobs. For example, the orc that Claire met just now is probably a wine holder, and lures people to spend in restaurants with beauty, and then when you check out, you find that a lot of money is spent, and when you go to the next step, people can't find it. The other party is also very good at selecting guests. Generally, the local people will not start. They specially select those who come to the capital and want to be intoxicated with money but have no foundation. Those people can only break their teeth and swallow when they are deceived. Obviously just now, that beast-eared girl took Claire as her target. If it was a local, where would she ask someone for directions? Start as a lord in a Viscount Chapter 70, Magic Academy. It has been 2 or 3 days since I left Nafu City, and I am getting closer and closer to the capital. Claire was lying in the carriage at this time, and without bringing anyone over, she brought the Wolf King over as a mount. Since he didn't want to walk, he wanted to get into the carriage and was kicked off by Claire. Followed by a row of carriages, all the grooms that Claire selected from the original shop to deliver the goods. The carriages were loaded with monosodium glutamate, shredded squid, and wooden boxes. There were no guards accompanying him along the way, and there were several 4th-level magic scrolls in Claire's space ring, and he was not afraid of any robbers who would dare to come and rob. If there is a robber at the level of an archmage, then he will consider himself unlucky, and he has become an archmage, and he is still doing this kind of stealth. What can he do? It is impossible to invite them to do such a thing with 100,000 gold coins. The cargo of my convoy has not reached 100,000 gold coins. The closer you are to the capital, the more horses and convoys you will encounter, and the safer you will be. Suddenly the carriage paused, and Claire sat up in shock. The driver outside explained in a panic, "Lord Viscount, there are strange birds in the sky." Claire opened the curtains, leaned on the window and looked up at the sky. With his knowledge, he quickly recognized it. It was the transportation mount of the Royal Capital Academy of Magic. The light-chasing bird could spread its wings up to more than 200 meters, and could easily carry hundreds of people on its back. It was said to be the Royal Capital Academy of Magic. It was a hybrid of a magister from, which was very fast but had little attack power, and was later used as a means of transportation. But it's not something that ordinary people can afford, at least with Claire's current net worth, it's completely unaffordable, and the threat from the air is also very big. Because its own strength is too weak, it generally has to be followed by an archmage-level wizard to resist the interference and sneak attacks of other air monsters. Claire also saw the teenagers with their heads stretched out from time to time on the bird's back, and their eyes were full of anticipation. He said to himself, this time period should be the time for admissions to the Magic Academy. These should be the children of nobles from various places. Magic is not the same as fighting spirit. Generally, only those with some wealth in the family can practice it. Except for some really talented magicians, most of the magicians are from nobles. Otherwise, it would cost dozens of gold coins to do a random experiment. But your family's income doesn't exceed 3 or 4 gold coins a year, what kind of magic are you doing? The Magic Academy officially entered the school at the age of 16. When Claire's family was still in the middle, his father spent tens of thousands of gold coins every year to hire some senior wizards to teach him to learn magic. At that time, you can directly enter the Royal Capital Magic Academy as a junior mage. But it is a pity that Claire finally learned the ranks of junior mages. If she entered the Magic Academy, she would definitely be a lot ahead of the rest of the students. However, when the family went bankrupt, she could only return to the viscounty to inherit the territory. However, the strength of these noble children sitting on the chasing bird is definitely not as strong as Claire's previous strength. The truly powerful nobles either live in the royal capital, or they live in the big cities in the kingdom, and there are also special magic schools in those big cities, so you don't have to spend a lot of time here to study. Even if you really admire the Magic Academy of the royal capital, you won't come with so many people on the light-chasing bird. Lower their status. It's all right, let's go. Claire pulled down the curtain and instructed. The coachman took a few more glances in surprise, then reluctantly took his eyes back and continued to drive the horse forward. After another half-day's journey, Claire finally saw the city gate of the royal capital. From a distance, it looked like a hill, much more imposing than Nafu City. Claire touched her nose, I'm back in less than a month. After arriving at the gate of the royal capital, Claire got off the carriage and rode on the Wolf King. These goods have to go through several layers of inspections before entering the capital. You can just hand them over to the people below, and you don't have to follow. Just come and pick it up. The soldiers guarding the city didn't react too much when they saw the Wolf King under Claire's seat. They were used to seeing these nobles who rode strange monsters in and out of the capital. However, the leader at the head still politely called Claire, Dear Viscount, your mount needs to be subject to some control, otherwise it will not be able to enter the capital. Claire nodded, and passed the information to the Wolf King to let him not resist. Did you see that the soldiers guarding the city are all silver-level soldiers, and their captains are even gold-level knights who can cut you in half with a single knife, so be careful not to roam around in the capital, understand? Quote. The Wolf King whimpered a few times, and then he honestly put on a metal ring like a collar, which is a magic tool that can instantly release electric magic to paralyze the opponent's body when the beast goes crazy and bites people everywhere. Every monster that enters the capital must wear it. The capital is divided into an inner city and an outer city. There are more residents living in the outer city, while the number of people living in the inner city is not so small. It can also be considered that the rich merchants are nobles living in the inner city, while the outer city has less people. Most of them were ordinary residents. Of course, there were exceptions. 4 of the 5 churches were in the outer city. Among them, the main church in the kingdom was also in the outer city. Nearly half of the largest magic academy was in the outer city. There is no obvious architectural blockage between the inner and outer cities, which is a regional concept formed spontaneously by the residents of the royal capital. The store that Shane opened was in the inner city. Claire rode the Wolf King to the inner city. As soon as he entered the inner city, Claire could clearly feel the difference between the inner city and the inner city, as if walking from a residential area. As in the business district, a very obvious change can be seen. I seem to have forgotten to ask where Shane opened that store. Claire scratched her head. But I didn't care, anyway, if you are so famous, you should be able to find it if you ask anyone. Claire set her eyes on a girl who seemed to be waiting in front of her. Excuse me, do you know where iodized salt is sold? Are you calling me? The girl turned her head and asked, pointing to herself. Only then did Claire see clearly that there were two cat ears on the top of the other's head that were different from humans. Cat ears girl. Claire secretly said in her heart. Well, can you tell me where the store that sells iodized salt is? Claire asked again. The cat-eared lady showed a sweet smile when she saw Claire's clothes. She pointed to the pub not far away and said, don't worry, let's have a drink first, and I'll take you there in person after drinking. Claire was stunned for a moment. When he first entered the capital, he encountered a wine holder. So he refused. Well, I'm not an adult and can't drink. It's all right, this young master, no one else will know about you and me. The cat-ear girl threw a wink at Claire, and deliberately lowered her body to reveal a large piece of snow. www.mtlnovel.com. The corner of Claire's mouth twitched, and he kicked the Wolf King secretly, signaling it to leave quickly. He didn't want to be entangled by the half-orc. I'm allergic to alcohol, Claire said expressionlessly. Cat-ear Niang took a few steps forward again, bringing the distance between the two of them a little bit closer. It's okay to do other things without drinking. People can get drunk even if they drink juice. Hey! The Wolf King showed a fierce expression and frightened the other party back a few steps. As Claire's mount, he still doesn't understand whether Claire is tempted. You ugly hairless bastard. Please get out of the way, or my prosperous wealth will bite. Seeing that Claire couldn't be fooled, the other party could only stomp angrily and turn away. Looking at Claire's back, the cat-eared girl said angrily, it's obviously very useful to these little boys, why don't you eat this soft and hard? The status of orcs is not high in the kingdom. They are usually sold in the form of slaves. When Claire was in the capital, he heard that a nobleman also bought a large number of orcs. A prostitute, but after a long time, there are some free people, but they are also engaged in some low-level jobs. For example, the orc that Claire met just now is probably a wine holder, and lures people to spend in restaurants with beauty, and then when you check out, you find that a lot of money is spent, and when you go to the next step, people can't find it. The other party is also very good at selecting guests. Generally, the local people will not start. They specially select those who come to the capital and want to be intoxicated with money but have no foundation. Those people can only break their teeth and swallow when they are deceived. Obviously just now, that beast-eared girl took Claire as her target. If it was a local, where would she ask someone for directions? Chapter 71. Enjoy it. The people in the capital are very realistic. In the end, Claire spent a silver coin to find a special guide who led him to the location of the iodized salt shop. Just like what I told Shaw N before, this is a very prosperous street. The whole street is full of splendid shops. The pedestrians are just like the pedestrian street in his previous life. The people here are also very elegant. It's not the same as what ordinary civilians wear. This young master, are you here to buy iodized salt? The leader asked. It's about the same. Claire replied casually. Unexpectedly, the other party leaned over quietly and whispered, I know there is a place where iodized salt is also sold. Although the effect is not as good as the one bought here, the price is cheap. Claire laughed secretly. Even the merchants who sold iodized salt thought their goods were not as good as theirs. Oh, where's the iodized salt? The iodized salt from Auburn City was originally made for salt, and now a new type of iodized salt has been developed. How much? For 50 silver coins, you can buy the same amount of iodized salt as here. The other party smiled. Claire chuckled in her heart, thinking that 50 silver coins could be sold even now. No, I'm not interested in that. Claire stepped forward. Don't go. The other party quickly stopped Claire. If I take you there, the price can be around 30 silver coins. Claire secretly said, if you can cut off 20 silver coins in one fell swoop, it seems that it will fall soon. No, I just like to buy iodized salt from Nafu City. I don't like other iodized salts. Claire refused. Seeing this, the other party could only sigh. Many people were like this before, and the price reduction was even less attractive. Anyway, he didn't quite understand why these people insisted on buying such expensive iodized salt, which he bought himself. 1 or 2 silver coins of iodized salt. Of course, there are lower prices, but those who do not meet his identity living in the inner city, he can't eat the same as those civilians in the outer city. Claire asked the Wolf King to stay outside, then pushed open the glass door of the shop and walked in. The first thing I saw when I entered was not the clerk, but a gorgeously dressed man with a mustache stood up with a smile on his face. After seeing clearly that it was Claire who came in, he pouted and sat back. In situ. Claire was rather confused, she didn't seem to know the other person. But at this time, the waiter in the store also greeted him, Master, are you here to buy iodized salt? Just as Claire was about to speak, the mustache said, Hey, let me tell you, there are no nobles I don't know in the entire capital, and I don't have any impression of him at all. You're just a fat man's businessman's son, and at most you can buy the cheapest iodized salt here, so don't try to please him, go and get me a cup of tea first. The corner of the waiter's mouth twitched, but he said politely, Wait a minute, I'll bring you a drink later. In my heart, I scolded the other party badly. You have been sitting here all day since morning. You have been sitting there without buying anything. Now you are still rude and want to drive my guests away. If it weren't for you there is a baron's title, and I have already kicked you out. Turning his head and smiling at Claire again, he said, Don't worry. No matter what type of iodized salt you want to buy, you are a valued customer in our store. However, Claire became interested and turned around and said, You said that I can only afford iodized salt for 5 or 6 gold coins, so what price can you afford for iodized salt? Baron Mustache glanced at Claire with disdain, and snorted coldly, HMPH, of course I can afford the highest end iodized salt, can you afford it? What can't you buy? How much is the most expensive iodized salt here? Today's price is 86 gold coins. The waiter said, Usually people who come to buy do not buy iodized salt that is worth thousands of gold coins, so the most expensive is the one below. Okay, then give me 2 boxes and one for this gentleman. After hearing this, Baron Mustache clapped the table angrily and stood up, pointing at Claire and scolding, You. Are you humiliating me? Claire shrugged, You can understand that. Let me tell you. I can buy it, you don't need to buy it for me. Mustache jumped angrily. Claire didn't say a word, looked at the other person's whole body with his eyes, focused on his empty hands, and chuckled lightly. The insult was so great that the other party couldn't take it anymore, his head flushed red, and he strode over. The waiter hurriedly stepped forward to stop him, Sir, we don't allow fighting here. But he was overjoyed. Finally someone came to treat him, and he ran away with several guests. Humph. Mustache calmed down, stretched out his hand and stroked his delicate beard, I wouldn't care about such a person. What kind of person are you talking about? Is it me who can afford more expensive iodized salt than you? Claire smiled. What do you mean? Do you think I can't afford it? You can understand it this way, otherwise, why do you have no intention of buying something after sitting here? When this is a free tea and beverage store. I tell you, I can afford it. All I have is money. Claire took a half step back and gestured towards the iodized salt on the counter. Hey, give me 3 boxes of the most expensive iodized salt here. Mustache said loudly, although he didn't need these at all, the average baron buys the 3rd order iodized salt, which is 20 to 30 price. Iodized salt, but he is an aristocrat anyway, how can he lose face? Claire narrowed her eyes with a smile, Give me 4 boxes, just a few hundred gold coins, my expenses for a day. Then he glanced at the other party provocatively. Mustache is going crazy, give me 5 boxes. Do you really think you can have me and be rich? 6 boxes. Claire said lightly. I'll come with 7 boxes. The sales clerk almost couldn't help laughing. The 2 of them were fighting here. The one who was cheaper was themselves. Today's commission must be indispensable. What is in that golden box? Claire pretended not to know anything, and pointed to the most prominent golden box in the display cabinet. This is snow salt specially provided by the royal family. The price is 1,000 gold coins. Generally, only the big nobles in the city will buy it. That's right, bring me a box of this special gift for the royal family. After speaking, Claire gave Mustache a provocative look. Are you crazy? 1,000 gold coins just to buy this box of salt. Do you think it's expensive because you don't have money, so you can't keep up? Claire's mouth was slightly mocking. What can't you do? I'll bring a box too. Let me tell you, being rich doesn't mean anything. I'm a baron. No matter how rich you are, you won't be able to be a noble. Can only be found elsewhere. Hey, I'm also a noble, a viscount, a real viscount. Do you have a fief? I have. I'll buy 2 boxes. Claire asked deliberately. Mustache's body trembled. So what if you have a fief? You're just a ***** from the countryside. I've been doing business in the capital for so long, you're not necessarily richer than me. I bought 3 boxes of snow salt. After saying this, Mustache's heart has already started to bleed. Although these 2,000 gold coins are not hurtful to him, they are enough to make him feel distressed for a long time. Knowing that this is a viscount, he is not yin and yang. What to say? You reading www.yequanshu.com, but it's okay to say it. This is the king's capital and not his viscount, and the other party can't do anything about him. Looking at the other party's expression, Claire felt that it was almost enough. If you add the other party to the top, you won't be concerned about spending 5,000 gold coins on the face of any noble. You can. You pay first. When it was time to pay, Mustache was hesitant, and began to wonder if it was worth the 3,000 gold coins he spent. Isn't it? I was angry when I shouted, and now I can't pay it. Then I'll pay for my 2 boxes of snow salt first. Who can't pay? I have money. After speaking, he took out a silver card from the space ring and handed it to the salesman, and waved it in front of Claire. This is a member of Temi Bank. The only silver card you have, take it and swipe it. The sales clerk pulled out the card with a smile and forcefully pulled out 3,000 gold coins on the magic crystal at the counter. Then, he handed 3 gold boxes containing snow salt and the card to Mustache's hand. Sir, please take your goods. Mustache held the 3 boxes of snow salt with a flash of distress in his eyes, thinking that it would be better to give it to a powerful noble he knew, and he would be reluctant to eat it by himself. Claire applauded. It's not bad. I can tell you a piece of news for the sake of the 3,000 gold coins you spent. Mustache finally took his eyes away from Shui Yan, hugged him tightly, and then looked at Claire. What are you going to say? Generally, those big nobles who come to the store to buy this kind of thing are handed over to their butlers to do it, and they won't come here specially to buy iodized salt. Mustache's pupils shrank. What do you mean? Chapter 72. By Versailles. What do you mean? Mustache rushed towards Claire, trying to grab Claire's collar and ask. The clerk wanted to block forward, but it was too late. But Claire's speed is much faster than the opponent. Rona can dodge the cup thrown over, not to mention an ordinary person's attack. Turning slightly to the side, he brushed past him, staggering his mustache. Claire, who flashed past, raised her eyebrows at the other party. Don't you know what I mean? Mustache still wanted to move forward, but at this time the clerk also reacted and stopped him quickly. Calm down, fights are not allowed in our store. What are you? Let me go. The mustache was righteous on his head. This store is the property of the Anser family. Are you sure you want to make trouble here? The clerk had no choice but to move out his boss. After saying this, the mustache finally calmed down. Although he is considered a nobleman, if the Anser family really had a bad influence, they could just stretch out a finger and crush them to death. The tip of his nose was panting, still looking at Claire with unkind eyes. You'd better make it clear. Otherwise, we'll never finish. Claire shrugged helplessly. Literally, don't you just want to squat for a moment with the great nobles so that they can compliment, but usually they won't come in person for this level of goods, at most they send their own subordinates. The housekeeper came over. If you really want to create a chance encounter, it is more reliable to go to the most high-end restaurant in the capital. The exposed mustache's face turned blue and white. Could he not know, but he had to go. Those most high-end restaurants have minimum consumption, and he doesn't even have the courage to enter with all his worth. A casual meal can be worth his entire year's income. I saw that this store had just opened, and it was still selling iodized salt, which I had never seen before, so I came to guard it with the idea of taking a chance. You can't control it. I bought 3 boxes of salt, have you bought yours? Mustache asked with his eyes wide open. Claire was stunned for a moment, then hesitated for a while. But this hesitant expression was magnified infinitely in Mustache's eyes. Ha 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 ha, can't you afford it at all? Where is the toughness just now? That's not true. It's not worth my money to buy this thing. What did you just say? If you think this thing is expensive, it means that its client is not you at all. Mustache showed off in front of Claire with the 3 boxes, as if he had found his way back from here. Claire burst out with a laugh, bought her own product and showed it off in front of her. If he honestly didn't provoke him, he wouldn't go to pit him for the 3,000 gold coins. When he saw Claire laughing, the mustache became angry. What are you laughing at? Squeak. The glass door of the store was pushed open by Shane. After seeing Claire, he said excitedly, Lord Viscount, you are here. Why didn't you tell me in advance so that I can send someone to pick you up? Mustache looked at Shane in surprise. Shane was the 3rd son of the Earl of Ansel, who he knew, and the owner of the shop. Your Excellency Shah-en. The mustache respectfully gave a noble salute. Who are you? Shane made a puzzled voice. Mustache was not embarrassed, but instead put on a smile and said to please. The nobleman forgets things, I am the Baron of the Gustav family. Oh. Shah-en responded perfunctorily, not knowing if he remembered it. Then he turned to look at Claire. Lord Viscount, let's go inside and talk. Mustache was stunned and glanced at Claire. He didn't expect this guy to be treated like this by Lord Shane, but he was ignored. Although he was not a powerful noble, he was somehow famous in the capital. Why is this guy? Your Excellency Shah-en, he is just a border viscount who can't even buy iodized salt. Why do you respect him so much? The mustache stopped in front of the 2 of them. If it was normal, he would definitely not do it. Such a thing, but from Shane's attitude towards Claire, we can tell that Claire's identity is unusual, but he was dizzy by Claire in the previous conversation. Claire flipped her hand and took out a purple card from the space ring and shook it in front of Mustache's eyes. She said softly, I can still afford iodized salt, but it's not necessary. Amethyst card. Mustache said at a loss for words, this is the amethyst card given by Temi Bank with a deposit of more than 1 million gold coins. At this moment, the mustache only felt hot on his face, which was much more noble than his silver card, but just now he was still showing it off in front of Claire. But the next second, Mustache roared, I don't believe it must be fake. Why did you let me win when you are so rich? You simply can't afford these precious iodized salts. Shah-en frowned and interjected, Lord Viscount is the Lord of Nafu City. These suppliers of iodized salt don't need to spend money to buy their own products. Mustache looked at Claire in disbelief, unable to speak as if stuck in his throat, you. Claire squinted her eyes and smiled, and said softly, thank you for this customer's support for the iodized salt in our store. Welcome to your next visit. The mustache immediately covered his chest, feeling that a mouthful of blood was about to be spurted out of anger. Shah-en gave the clerk a wink, and the other party immediately understood it. He immediately supported the mustache who was about to collapse, and said loudly, you've finished shopping, and I'll take you out. Mustache struggled and wanted to stay for a while, but was forcibly dragged out of the store by the clerk and sent to the street outside. Mustache was still standing at the door of the shop with an unbelievable look on his face. At this time, his head had already shut down, and he only felt that the sunlight outside was so dazzling. The clerk who returned to the store was also relieved. Although I had heard from the boss that there was another major shareholder behind the store, accounting for 70% of the total, I didn't expect to look so young. Fortunately, I didn't leave any bad impression on the other party. But I sold 3 boxes of snow salt today, and I made a lot of money. After Shane brought Claire into the reception room, he went to get a cup of black tea and put it in front of Claire. Shane said with a smile, how can the Viscount be in the mood to care about this kind of guy? Claire took a sip of black tea. It was indeed a drink in the capital. It was no different from the drinks in her previous life. As for Nafu City, now it is still the stage of drinking hot water, where can I drink it? Even if it generates income for the store, I have a share. I earned more than 2,000 gold coins. Shane couldn't help laughing, ha 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 ha. It makes sense. Don't make trouble. I have already sent people to transport those MSG and shredded squid into the capital, and then you will have people pick them up. Shane nodded. No problem. Now that I've arrived in the capital, tell me about Mrs. Sophia's specific situation. Claire asked. She is from my father's generation, so I don't know much about her, but I do know a little about her family. I told you before that August is in business like my family, so I don't know much about her. The scope involved is very wide. Almost all businesses in the kingdom are involved, but the main ones are still those national chain stores. Almost all cities in the kingdom have stores opened by her family. Where you can buy the kingdom, there are goods from all over the world, so after we cooperate with her, we don't need to spend the cost to expand the store, and there is the magic store, which is one of the 3 giants of magic stores in the kingdom. The big 3 of magic shops. Claire noticed this. If it is said that Claire's current iodized salt industry is a small fishing boat that goes out to sea, the other party is a fishing boat of tens of thousands of tons. It is not on the same level at all. This can no longer be described as rich. Yes, the other 2 giants are my father, and Prince Albert of the royal family. Claire. Did I mean to ask about the identities of the other 2? You are strong. To be able to suddenly come to Versailles for himself. Chapter 73. Perfect woman. Your father is so strong, why did you come out to do business? Shah-En spread his hands helplessly. I can't help it, my family started with this, and my 2 brothers also came out of the business, and now they have completed the original accumulation, and they are working hard in those big cities. Then your family is miserable enough. It's okay, it's fortunate that I met you, otherwise I would have to run for a few more years. Now I have handed over the business to the people below. At present, I mainly focus on this aspect of iodized salt. It is estimated that after MSG comes, sales won't be that bad either. The topic has diverged. Let's continue talking about Mrs. Sophia. Claire brought the topic back. Oh. Anyway, now she is the current head of their family, and their family covers a wide range. Anyway, compared with us, it is the gap between the titan and the ant. I just don't know how she fell in love with us. Come to the meeting in person, usually only one of your subordinates is enough for this kind of thing. Shah-En was not arrogant yet, thinking that the other party ended up in person because of his identity. Although the identity of the 3rd son of the head of the Ancier family is bluffing enough, it is not enough to compare with the other party, at least before he inherited the title, and he still doesn't know if he can inherit the title. How old is she? Claire continued to ask, not for any special reason, just casually. This is not clear. The age of those noblewomen is a mystery. Few people know their age, but I can tell you that she is a big beauty, with a good figure, like a big white pear, and she looks very beautiful. I am in the nobles. I have seen it a few times at the party, and it left a deep impression on me. There are very few women in the capital who are better looking than her. Shah-En turned into a compliment to Sophia. Is it really that beautiful? Claire couldn't help asking when she heard Shane's exaggerated description. She's not the kind of question about whether she's pretty or not, she's really the kind of, how should I put it, it's very tempting, one word. Run. Shah-En pursed his lips. Anyway, you can feel it when you see it. Listening to his description, Claire came up with a general picture, and said softly, peach type of light mature girl, I didn't expect you to like this type. You're right in what you described. The only pity is that she was married. Shah-En pouted. Isn't it normal to be married? No, her husband is a waste, a very ordinary baron in the capital. He doesn't look good, and he has no ability. I don't know how she likes that person. Anyway, after the news came out, during that time, the single aristocrats in the entire royal capital are drinking alcohol to relieve their sorrows every day, shouting, how can I not be as good as him? Even those who have become families are beating their chests, and the entire royal capital's aristocratic circle has slumped by nearly one person. It took many months to recover, and although she is now divorced, there are still many nobles pursuing her. So exaggerated? Claire asked in surprise. It's not an exaggeration at all. If you ask any local person in the capital, they know there's something going on. Claire also tried her best to recall her previous memory, and really found a little memory about this aspect, but he didn't pay much attention to it at the time, so he didn't remember it very clearly. Then what is her strength? Business strength. Very strong. My father commented on her. She is a rare business genius for hundreds of years. After she took over, their family has risen to a higher level. She also created the nationwide chain store. Now it has become one of the important economic pillars of the August family. But such a shrewd woman's eyesight shouldn't be too bad, right? The Baron she picked is really useless at all. Really not. Some people thought about it at the beginning. Maybe she discovered the bright spot in that man, but they have been married for more than 10 years, and her ex-husband will only ask her for money and do business. What business went bankrupt? I heard that I was still messing around with flowers and weeds outside, and annoyed those nobles who originally admired Sophia. If Sophia sent someone to stop him, I would have killed that person. Shane said. At the time, I also hated itching teeth. But after she inherited the title of Earl, the Baron was still messing around outside, and then she gave the ex-husband millions of gold coins, and later divorced, and she is still unmarried. Shaw-en continued to regret, although he knew that a woman like Sophia would not like him, but it was really bad, that person is such a bastard, and he could get millions of gold coins after a divorce. Shaw-en killed him, his heart has it all. Everyone's evaluation of her is a perfect woman, except for some blindness. Shaw-en said jokingly, damn, it's a pity, if I had given birth more than 10 years earlier, maybe I could have saved her. Quote. But Claire narrowed her eyes. After hearing what you said, I don't think it's that simple. How do you say it? Shane was also interested. Every time he talked to Claire, he always realized something new. Let me ask you a few questions first. What is the succession order of the August family? It's different from my family. We broke out through strength. Whoever is stronger will be in the top position, and the rest will be assisted. Everyone is convinced. The August family seems to be the eldest son, just like ordinary nobles. Sophia is the number one pick. The third place, she has 2 older brothers. Did that Baron join the August family? Yes, it is indeed a marriage. Shane seemed to see something through the fog at this time, but he couldn't reach out his hand to catch it. Both brothers died. No. The elder brother accidentally encountered a flying beast on the way back when he went out to talk business, but her second brother is now working for the August family in a big city outside the capital. Isn't that clear? Ah. Shaw-en still didn't understand, so he hurriedly said, you have aroused my curiosity, please elaborate. I don't know if it's right or not, you can just listen to it as a story. Claire said first. According to the convention among nobles, female nobles who marry off will have no right to inherit unless all the male heirs in the family die. Shane nodded repeatedly, wanting to hear Claire continue. Then you contact the questions I asked you before. Sophia's husband is a married woman, which means that she has not married off and is not far from the power center of the August family, so she is still August. The third in-line heir of the family is not far from the center of power at all, and some things in the family can also get involved. This is the most critical step. If she gets married, it will be very difficult to obtain the title of Earl, so she found a son-in-law to come in so that she can continue to stay in the August family. Then is to let the Baron go out to ruin his reputation, reduce his threat, and at the same time secretly attract more people and hold more power. Plus her excellent business ability, the dozen or so married to the Baron. She should have mastered most of the business of the August family in the past year, but this is not enough, there are 2 heirs above her. So her eldest brother was killed. Shaw-en sucked in a breath. Claire nodded in agreement, and continued, when her elder brother died, did the head of the August family die? Shane's mouth twitched, it's not dead yet. In less than half a year after Sophia's eldest brother died, she handed over all the properties of the August family to Sophia, and she also started from that time, became a countess. There was a huge wave in Shaw-en's heart. Under those things that he thought were just so ordinary, there was such a huge wave hidden behind his back, but he didn't notice it all these years. www.mtlnovel.com. It is completely regarded as a pastime before and after tea. If Claire wakes him up, he still has the right to think that Sophia is blind now. Shane now even suspects that the previous head of the August family was forced to give up the position after Sophia killed her eldest brother and completely mastered the August family, and her second brother did not stop the other because of his interest. Inherited the title and survived. So my evaluation of her is, a shrewd and perfect woman. Claire smacked her lips. Impossible, how could this kind of thing be hidden from everyone? My father never told me. Shaw-en rubbed his head. Maybe what your father knows, he just doesn't want to tell you juniors, and I said it before, it's just a story, just listen to it. Claire smiled. Shane thought about it, but it's not impossible. If it's really as Claire guessed, it's impossible for his father to tell the inside story even if he knows something. Claire patted Shane on the shoulder. Isn't it a good thing if this is true? It means that she may not have had any intimate relationship with that ex-husband. You still have a chance. Shaw-en fought a cold war. No, I'm a little afraid of her after hearing what you said. Shaw-en wiped the non-existent cold sweat on his forehead, suddenly remembered something, and jumped up suddenly. No. My eldest sister also seems to have a crush on a lord. She intends to include him in our family. Could it be that she wants to imitate Countess Sophia? Ah. Claire was a little speechless. Shane became startled after hearing this story. Don't be surprised, isn't your family based on strength? What does it have to do with her looking for a son-in-law? Chapter 74. I see you. Damn it, forget it. Shane sat back on the sofa and breathed a sigh of relief, and his eldest sister probably didn't have the abilities of Sophia. Have you agreed to meet her? Claire asked. Not yet, but you've already arrived in the capital. I'll send someone to inform you, and there will be results soon. After saying this, Shaw-en hesitated. Otherwise, let's not cooperate with her. It feels like there will be no bones left to be swallowed. Claire didn't know whether to laugh or cry. We are just business partners, not the heirs of their family, so what are you afraid of? And her second brother can survive. It shows that she is not someone who kills innocent people indiscriminately, and pure cooperation should be fine. Quote. That's right, the merchants who have cooperated with her over the years have been doing well, and I haven't heard of anything going on. Shane stood up. Then I'll find someone to inform her, so you can rest here for a while. Shane's efficiency is very high. Before he arrived in the afternoon, several carriages appeared outside the store. They brought in MSG and shredded squid, and they were placed on the counter in a short while. The new brightly colored advert focuses on MSG. This time, there is no need to advertise in the newspaper. The reputation of this store has already been sold. The people who come in to buy iodized salt will naturally be interested in these new monosodium glutamate. There is no need to advertise in the newspaper as before deliberately advertised. Shaw-en returned to the store within 3 hours of leaving the house. How's it going? When are you going to talk about business? Shane looked surprised. She said tonight. In such a hurry. Claire was also a little surprised. I also think it's strange. Does she have some conspiracy? Shane asked suspiciously. You'll know when you go. Where is the location? A famous restaurant in the inner city seems to be the property under her name. It's almost time. Let's pack up and go. Claire took Shane's carriage to the place agreed with the other party 10 minutes in advance. It was a restaurant on a bustling street. The decoration was very high-end from the outside, and there were warm-colored magic lamps inside. You wait here first, I'll go in and see where the reservation is. Shane said. Claire also nodded, and began to look at the surrounding environment at will. There were bright lights all around and people came out to have fun and spend the night. It made him feel like he had returned to his previous life, the capital in his current Nafu city. Sure enough, it's not on the same level. Now, Nafu City, under his own viscounty, doesn't have street lights yet. Claire turned her head and saw a shabby boy curled up in the alley, with a broken bowl in front of him, lying on the ground without crying and begging, just looking at the passing pedestrians with an inexplicable gaze. And those passers-by who passed by him showed disgust when they saw it, and then hid to the side. Occasionally, a few kind-hearted young ladies would give him some change, but he had never been seen to thank him. There are still beggars in the capital. Claire said to herself, but she soon figured out that there were beggars in a metropolis like New York in her previous life, let alone another world. At this time, Shane also came back and said with a smile, this restaurant will not entertain guests tonight. Mrs. Sophia specially prepared it for us. Claire raised her brows, she was so arrogant. He followed Shaw-en in and found a place near the window. After ordering a few dishes at random, he began to wait. However, the waiting time was not too long. Before 10 minutes, a figure entered the door of the restaurant. You wait outside, I'll go in and talk about some business. Sophia said to the guard beside her. Yes. Madam. The guards dispersed immediately, starting to be vigilant centered on the restaurant. After the other party walked in, Claire finally saw what the beautiful woman in Shane's mouth looked like. Tall, wearing a tight-fitting black dress with an open back, the skirt is forked at the crotch, and every step forward, you can see two pairs of big white legs that appear and disappear. If you wear this dress on someone else's body, it will feel vulgar. But on her body it looks very graceful, not vulgar at all but more noble. The appearance is also extremely charming. Rao is that many beauties that Claire has seen in her previous life are rarely comparable to her. Her beauty is not the beauty on the surface, but the beauty in the bones. It can tug at the heartstrings of men. Claire pursed her lips and thought to herself, no wonder Shane rated her so highly. Sophia came over, and Claire and Shane also stood up politely. Shane gave an aristocratic salute and said, "Hello madam, I am the third son of Earl Ansair. My father often praised you, saying that if we could have 1/10 of your business intelligence, he can safely hand over the family property to us." Sophia nodded slightly and said, "Say hello to your father for me." Then he put his hand to Claire. "This is the Viscount of the Griffin family, Claire. He is also our supplier of iodized salt, accounting for 70% of our store." Claire nodded towards the other party as a greeting. Sophia said with a smile, "So that's how it is, really young and promising. Let's sit down and talk." Sophia's voice was extremely touching, as if her hands were gently stroking her chest. With her charming expression, her lethality was multiplied, and Claire finally understood why the nobles in the capital were so fascinated by her. "It's just pink and pink skeletons," Claire secretly said, trying not to be influenced by the other party. After sitting down, Sophia held her chin and looked at Claire carefully, and said softly, "So you are the helmsman behind those iodized salts. I thought it was this little guy. www.mtlnovel.com. Claire smiled slightly, "It's just some small business, not as good as you, madam." Quote. "Bought the doctors in the capital to make them publicize for you, and then created panic to sell the iodized salt for hundreds of gold coins. This is your idea, right?" Sophia looked straight at Claire. Shane couldn't help swallowing his saliva. What he did was very secretive, how could he have been discovered? Then he silently glanced at Claire next to him to see how he reacted. Claire's expression was still as calm as water, neither admitting nor denying it. "Aren't we here to discuss cooperation?" Hearing Claire's words, Sophia showed a captivating smile, still looking straight at Claire. "Okay, let's talk business. What is the cost of making your iodized salt?" Claire looked at each other without fear at all, opened her mouth and said, 3 gold coins, the more expensive you sell, the higher the cost. I also have a salt-making factory. I still understand the cost of iodization. Then a dozen copper coins. This is tens of thousands of times the profit. You have such a big appetite. If you have money and don't earn money, you are a fool. Claire said lightly. Shaw-en didn't dare to interrupt, he could only deal with the food in front of him silently. Sophia watched Claire's eyes twinkle, and leaned forward again, her chest pressing on the table. You also came up with the royal family's special offering. As a nobleman, you naturally have to be loyal to your king and the royal family. It is normal to offer your belongings to the royal family. The expression on Sophia's face became even more charming. She watched Claire lick her lips lightly. I've got your eyes on you. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 75, Claire's Principles. Claire had a question mark on her face. What are you talking about? At this time, Sophia continued. I have a crush on you, come and do things under my hands. After he finished speaking, he blinked at Claire and said with a smile, also, your expression just now was so funny, didn't you think I was going to eat you? The corners of Claire's mouth twitched. This woman is really difficult to deal with. No, my ability probably won't be of much help to madam. You can sell iodized salt worth more than a dozen copper coins for hundreds of gold coins. You call this incompetence? Then those people under my command should die. I already have my own shop. Claire politely refused. Just how much money can the two of you make from that shop? Even if you open it all over the kingdom, it's only 2 or 3 million a year. Come and do things with me. I guarantee you can earn tens of millions of gold coins a year. It's still the most basic. If there is a chance, I can make you a little viscount to be promoted to earl. What do you think of this condition? Sophia really took a fancy to Claire's abilities. In the conversation just now, she became more and more fond of Claire. She avoided talking about key issues, and she could open her eyes and talk nonsense about manufacturing costs. Don't expose it. Afterwards, he was not ashamed at all, and said frankly, then a dozen copper coins. The most important thing is the wisdom at the commercial level. Under his operation, things with low value such as iodized salt can be sold at such a high price in the capital, and the nobles in the capital will be fooled and lame. It is very important to her. If she has such a helper, it will be much easier. Count. Claire raised her eyebrows. He was not interested in this title, but was curious about Sophia's ability. Count. Sophia is also very confident. Although she is only an earl, the gap between the earl and the earl is also very amazing. The real power of the earl is more powerful than those of the grand dukes. Many. Our kingdom has been in friction with neighboring countries over the years. If there is a war, you don't even need to go to the battlefield. I can help you get an earl title. How is it, are you interested? Sophia originally thought that Claire was interested in mentioning this, but unexpectedly saw Claire shake her head. My current viscounty is big enough, and I don't need a larger territory for the time being. Then what are you interested in? Wealth, women, power, I can give it to you. Claire shook her head slightly. Mrs. S. condition is really exciting, but I'm used to being free, and I don't want to work under someone else's command. In the last life, I was squeezed. In this life, I finally turned into a landlord. You want me to work again? Don't even kill me. What's more, I still have a viscount to develop, and I won't do it for any amount of money. Sophia narrowed her eyes slightly and said lightly, that's a pity. Shane looked at the beautiful face of the other party, and was still appreciating it, but after thinking of Claire's previous story, an idea suddenly popped into his heart. This Count Sophia shouldn't have the mentality of destroying it if he can't get it. Just as he was about to remind Claire, the other party suddenly laughed like a flower and said, then let's talk about cooperation. It was originally here to discuss cooperation. Claire also laughed. You have a salt factory, right? Can you also produce iodized salt? Sophia nodded slightly, wanting to hear Claire continue. That's easy. You can directly sell your iodized salt, and then put the sign of our store on it, saying that it is iodized salt from Nafu City, which saves shipping costs. A light flashed in Sophia's eyes, and she said excitedly, it's a lie to co-author your best match. I never thought about that. Claire knocked on the table. Listed for sale, I want 70% of the profit. When it comes to business, Sophia's expression also became serious. You know, all the costs are borne by us. It's too whimsical that you want to take 70% of the profits just for a name. Claire spread out her hands. Then you can build a store that can sell iodized salt as a luxury item, and all the profits will be yours. All of Claire said that with certainty. Sophia just said that she has a salt factory in her hand and can also produce iodized salt. If the brand store that your store is fighting against comes, it means that the other party has tried but failed. My own iodized salt first seized the market and took the lead, but most people are preconceived, and my few moves have blocked the channels for other iodized salt brands to rise. Brands that compete with iodized salt just need to invest too much money and time, which is not worth the loss. It is better to cooperate directly. I appreciate you more and more. Are you sure you don't want to do things under my hands? Sophia couldn't help but sent an invitation again. I've already stated my attitude on this matter. Let's talk about profit sharing. Can Sanchikai accept it? Although I don't lack this money, business is business. It is impossible to divide it into 3 or 7, but 40 or 6. When Claire raised her eyebrows, the other party backed down. This was a good signal. She immediately took out a box of MSG from the space ring. Our store sells more than just iodized salt. This is the second one, and there will be a third and a fourth. Claire said to himself, but only he knew that he was being nonsense. These two may not be released in the future, but isn't doing business just telling stories. As long as what you say is good enough, the other party will believe in yourself more than you do. Sophia slowly picked up the box of MSG. What is this? Claire had already prepared it, put the MSG into the untouched broth in front of her, stirred it a few times, and then pushed it over. She made a gesture of invitation. Mrs. Have a taste. Sophia hesitated for a while, but Claire immediately saw the other party's concerns, picked up her own spoon and drank the soup. I'll taste it first. Sophia glanced at Claire with a smile, and there was a hint of dissatisfaction in her tone. Like a resentful woman, Lord Viscount really has a heart. Claire didn't answer. She smiled and pretended to be stunned. Try it. Sophia also picked up the spoon and took a sip, feeling the taste of the broth. Her eyes widened slightly. I see you guys just open a restaurant. The products are all about eating. It must be better than mine. A restaurant to make money. How can this thing be divided into 3 or 7? Claire also imitated the other's appearance and said with a smile, this is different from iodized salt. www.mtlnovel.com. The difficulty of researching it has increased several times. Quote. Claire clearly means that it is very difficult to divide into 3 or 7, but secretly means that this is different from iodized salt. If you also want to study it, you will spend a lot of money and time on it. Work with me. And Claire has also investigated before coming here. Those who cooperate with Sophia's stores also have a lot of 37%. His request is not too much. Well, it's too much. He didn't even provide the goods of iodized salt. Is the Viscount really not giving in? Sophia said in a soul-stirring tone, and leaned over slightly to reveal a large expanse of snow. The frightened Shah-En quickly lowered his head, not even daring to look at it. Claire forcibly controlled his eyes that moved down unconsciously, so as not to be embarrassed here. He knew very well that although this rose looked beautiful, it had thorns. If he dared to stretch his hand forward, he would definitely pierce it. Blood from one hand. Seeing the reaction of the two, Sophia was very happy. She just likes to tease others like this and watch their reactions, but if she is a casual woman and dares to behave rudely, it will not end well. Madam, you have already said that business is business and cannot be compromised. Claire's eyes were still on her face. Hey, then it's up to you. Sophia sighed softly. You're the first person at such a young age to be able to negotiate business with me into 37%. My sister is getting more and more towards you. I'm interested. You're welcome. I heard that Madam has something to do with the Magic Academy. I want to ask you to help me with something. If I help you, can it be divided into 5 or 5? Sophia said with a smile. Chapter 76. She's too smart. If I help you, can we divide it into 50-50? Sophia looked straight at Claire with a charming look. Claire. Actually, it's not a big deal, so I won't bother you, madam. Sophia covered her mouth and laughed. I'm kidding you, but how did you know that I had something to do with the Magic Academy? What did this little guy tell you? Saying that, Sophia glanced at Shah-En, who was still eating with her head down. Shah-En still didn't lift her head, and continued to deal with the plate of food in front of her. Isn't it easy to see? Claire said softly, Madam, the reason why your chain store is able to open all over the kingdom is that the transportation channel must be very developed, and the nobles in the entire capital do not know that your transportation channel is the Magic Academy. The light-chasing bird is unique to the Royal Capital Academy of Magic. Except for the August family you belong to, no other nobles have obtained this kind of magical creature. In addition, in the magic shop you opened, there aren't many magic items also circulated from the Magic Academy. On the basis of these points, you can conclude that I have a relationship with the Magic Academy. Are these points not enough? Claire answered confidently, but the truth was what Sophia had guessed. Shane really told him about her relationship with the Magic Academy, and Claire deduced the cause from the result. Enough, my family does have something to do with the Magic Academy. Sophia dragged her chin and asked, Tell me, what do you want me to do for you? It's not a big deal. I want to enter the Royal Capital Academy of Magic for a period of study. Claire said, the collection of books in the Magic Academy must be more abundant and advanced than those in his home. I've read it many times, and I won't gain much if I watch it anymore. This time, I finally came to the capital. He wants to gain more magical knowledge, and the best way is to join the Magic Academy. The Magic Academy is not just about having books, but being able to talk to the mages in it is also an extraordinary gain for Claire. Sophia looked at Claire up and down and asked, Aren't you also a magician? It shouldn't be a problem to enter the Magic Academy with your strength. The enrollment of the Royal Capital Academy of Magic is over, and now there are no more admissions, and I won't be staying in the Royal Capital for a long time, so I thought of bothering you. Sophia didn't speak, stared at Claire's eyes for a while, and suddenly laughed. Okay, you can report to the Magic Academy tomorrow. Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome, you owe me a favor. Okay. Claire nodded. It would be really difficult for him to find a way to get into the Magic Academy. This guy Shane is now doing business on his own, and the connections in the family can't be used, so he can't help him at all. The unfamiliar didn't know anyone in the Magic Academy, so he could only ask Sophia for help. You're an interesting person. That's it for today's conversation. We'll meet again later. I'm looking forward to this day. Claire nodded slightly. Sophia walked towards the door of the restaurant with her long legs. At this time, Shane finally stopped pretending to be dead, and quickly stood up and followed Claire out. At the door of the restaurant, as soon as Sophia left the door, the pedestrians on the side of the road were all stunned and stopped to look over. It was hard not to attract the attention of others. There's no need to send it. I'll have someone deliver the contract to you tomorrow. Shane smiled. It's our honor to work with you, madam. The little guy can really talk. As soon as Claire walked out of the door, she unconsciously looked towards the alley before, looking for the figure of the beggar boy. The other party didn't walk away, and was still lying there, but it seemed that he didn't even have the strength to raise his head. Sophia looked at Claire, huh? Then he followed Claire's gaze, saw the dying boy, showed a smile and asked, do you want to save him? Claire looked back and shook her head slightly. No, there are so many suffering people in the world. I can't save them all. I'm just curious, there is actually a beggar here, but he wasn't driven away. That's all for the little gangs in the underground. From a young age, some children are trained to steal. If they are caught stealing and their hands and feet are interrupted, they will be thrown into these places to gain sympathy and begging. Those little gangs are still some nobles' gloves, so no one cares about it all the time. The corners of Claire's mouth were slightly upturned, and she said with a smile, how can madam understand so well? Sophia laughed. Don't you think I would have any connection with these little gangs? That's not true. Claire believed that an earl of the other party wouldn't even like this kind of money, he was just teasing the other party. Naughty. Sophia tapped Claire's nose with her finger. I won't talk to you anymore, I have something to do first. Walk slowly, madam. Shaw-en also said quickly, go slowly, madam. After Sophia's carriage and the backs of the 20-odd guards gradually became smaller and disappeared, Claire and Shane breathed a sigh of relief. Call. Shane let out a long sigh. When Sophia was present, he felt like there was a big rock in his heart. Claire's reaction wasn't that great, but she felt relieved. My Lord Viscount, I really admire you for being able to chat and laugh with someone like Madame Sophia. Claire glanced at Shane. As long as you are more reliable, I won't be able to deal with it alone, and I will see you eating during the whole process. Then I have to dare. When I saw her, it was like seeing my father. I felt so oppressed that I didn't dare to talk to her. Indeed. Claire nodded. It was true that the other party gave her a great sense of oppression. Although he talked to the other party like a casual conversation, anyone who had some experience could feel the influence of the other party's every move. The sense of oppression is difficult to talk about. Just like some high-ranking officials in the previous life, Yu reading www.yuakanshu.com has been sitting in that position for a long time, and naturally exudes an aura called the Hall in the Hall. But I can see that Mrs. Sophia is very fond of you. Shane joked. Claire rolled her eyes. Do you dare to go to me? I'm almost eaten by her. How can there be a good person who can get into the position of Earl by herself, and she's too smart? What's the meaning? Between lovers, either both are idiots, one is smart and the other is stupid, or you are smart and she is smarter than you, otherwise it is impossible to be together. I'm interested, please elaborate. People can be backward compatible, but it is impossible to be upward compatible. If two idiots are together, they will be happy every day. If a stupid and a smart are together, the smart can be backward compatible with each other, and life can be lived. It's very comfortable, but only two smart people can't be together. The other party knows the meaning behind your random actions. You can guess what she wants to do with her random words, and life will be very easy. Hard. Claire continued to ask. You are also very smart. Will you find a wife who can see through all your thoughts and is evenly matched with you? Shaw-en was stunned for a while, then shook his head and said, no, what you said makes some sense. It took a few seconds for Shane to react. No, you mean that you are as smart as Mrs. Sophia. Shane is still a little unacceptable. In his opinion, Sophia is on the same level as his father, and although Claire is a bit more powerful than him, she is about the same age as himself, how could she be so powerful? Claire shrugged and said with a smile, you can understand that, don't think about it too much, our carriage is here, let's go. Chapter 77. Help me. Shane suddenly looked out the window and said, Lord Viscount, that beggar is looking at you. Claire looked in the direction of Shane's finger, and she saw the beggar who was lying on the ground dying raised his head and looked at himself, his eyes full of longing for life. Claire squinted her eyes, didn't move, and continued to look at each other. And the beggar didn't know if he had realized something. There was a glimmer of hope in Claire's eyes. He moved his arm forward, and then rubbed the ground and moved towards Claire. Save! Save me! The other party weakly cried out for help. Claire still didn't move too much, she was still staring at the other party, as if she was examining something. The beggar held the ground with both hands and staggered to support his body. Only then did Claire realize that the other's hands and feet had been cut off with knives, and the wound on the wrist had not even healed. There were looming wounds on his clothes. Shane's eyes flickered a few times and looked at Claire, but the other party still didn't have a big reaction. Slowly, the beggar used his two weak arms to prop up his body, but his lower body still knelt on the ground. But after completing this action, a glimmer of hope finally appeared on his face, and he continued to move towards Claire, moved away in the direction. The statement was vague. Save me, I don't want to die yet. Claire raised her eyebrows. He just saw the desire for life in the eyes of the other person. The feeling was like seeing a drowning person's desire for oxygen. It was shocking, but it also touched Claire's heart. Maybe this is someone who can make things happen, Claire said to herself. After the beggar stood up, his speed became much faster, and he slowly moved towards Claire from the opposite side of the road. But before he reached 1 meter, his body collapsed again. He was about to die, and his body could no longer bear it. He just supported because his body had exhausted most of his strength. But after the fall, the opponent did not accept his fate, but moved his head like a worm and wriggled in the direction of Claire. Claire's eyes flickered, showing admiration. Ha! Ha! The other party was panting heavily, but his body still didn't stop. He finally moved to the middle of the road, and there was blood behind it all. Crack! The opponent's body suddenly stopped, and his head fell to the ground. At this moment, he suddenly lost control of his body, and he couldn't even crawl forward. Then came a choked cry, woo. At this time, he didn't even have the strength to look straight at Claire. He could only let his face the ground, and the tears could not stop flowing. He didn't know why he was crying at this time. He didn't cry when he cut off his hand's scriptures with the knife, and when he knew he wouldn't be able to survive tonight and would die. He didn't cry, but it was at this moment that he cried. His entire body was paralyzed on the ground as if he was paralyzed, unable to move at all. Only a whimpering cry came out. Please, save me. Even if you are a demon, I will swear allegiance to you. Quote. Claire suddenly showed a smile, looked at Shane and asked, can you help? Shane was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that Claire would suddenly ask himself this question. He hesitated for a while. Help. Okay, help. Then Claire rolled over and got out of the car and walked in front of the other party. Seeing Claire approaching, Siri relaxed and her consciousness gradually blurred. Hirian was not a native of his own country, but fled here from another country. His family died along the way, and he was the only one who survived. He was only 11 years old at that time. At the age of 11, he was coaxed into the capital and sold to those underground gangs. The gang he belonged to was called the Razor Club, and he was good at using a razor to cut the pockets of the rich. Steal money from it. At first, Hirian was reluctant to learn, but he was beaten constantly. He was hungry for a few days before he started to learn. He was very smart and learned things very quickly, and soon became famous in the gang, but this kind of fame is not what a good thing. They are always the lowest, not even gang members in the Razor Club. All the money stolen every day will also be offered, and then exchanged for a full meal for the day. Some people thought about running away, but they were all caught, cut their throats with a razor in front of them, and died in front of them. So from that moment on, Hirian left a shadow in his heart, especially fear of death. In this way, 5 years have passed, and Zillion has also become a 16-year-old boy. One day he went out to steal as usual, and he was eyeing a beautifully dressed noble girl. Zillion looks good and can be courted. Other people's likes, he also relies on this face that is easy to make people feel good, and it is easier to get it. If they are sloppy, people will avoid them, so the razor will prepare decent clothes for them. After Killian tidied up his clothes, he approached the noble girl and chatted a few words, and then he provokes them. The other party covered his mouth and laughed. Just when he was about to take this opportunity to steal, a young boy with the appearance of a noble suddenly appeared and kicked him out. "You dare to touch my woman!" The man shouted and picked up the thing in his hand and smashed it down at Zillion, constantly kicking and hitting him all over the body. Zillion did not dare to resist, he could only dodge and try to escape from this place. He hit the thigh with a big stick, and he managed to escape, under the jeers of the other party. The injured Zillion returned to the gang. Because he didn't steal the money that day, he was beaten badly. He never thought that he was the one who stole the most money back. Hirian injured his thigh, and he couldn't steal a penny for the next few days. The gang didn't give him food at all in those days. He could only lie outside the bakery looking at the bread inside and endure it. Hunger waiting for his leg injury to recover. It was at this time that a young lady handed herself a piece of bread, and Killian thanked him one after another. "Thank you, you are really a kind person." Hirian was holding the cheapest piece of brown bread, and his heart was full of excitement. After gobbling down a few mouthfuls, he looked up and glanced over. Those who came out of the bakery were all holding fragrant white bread. Hirian he suddenly stopped chewing, not because he felt that the brown bread in his hand was not fragrant, but a thought suddenly popped into his mind: I won't be like this for the rest of my life. Before, he tried hard to steal money in order to really join the gang, but the whips he received also made him understand that the members of the gang only regarded him as a tool to make money, and there were many other tools like him. From that day on, he would secretly take out a small part of the money he invested and hide it in a hidden place. That was his hope, the hope of escaping Razor's control and gaining a new life. 3 years later, he went to hide money as usual, but in that hidden corner he found a gang member who was having a good time with the young lady and the prostitute. He never escaped, and was caught. 3 years of savings were also turned over. After being discovered, he did not die, but became a negative example of the other teenagers. He was hanged and beaten with a whip dipped in salt water. He was left in this alley and began the next stage of exploitation. But Killian knew that he would not survive this day at all. His blood kept flowing out, and his body became weaker and weaker. At the beginning, he could barely do some movements, but the only thing that could move was his head. Killian, who felt his life passing by, just wanted to see the world for the last time. www.mtlnovel.com. This treats himself not so friendly world. But it was just a casual glance. I saw Claire looking at him at the door of the restaurant. Although Claire gave him a strange feeling, he didn't care. He just glanced at him. What's the use of being strange, Claire? He also walked into the restaurant and started business talks with Sophia. Then he felt sleepy, couldn't lift his eyelids, and his head lay on the ground. It was at this time that Claire and Sophia came out. Although he couldn't hear what they said, they also woke him up, who was about to die. Reluctantly raising her head, Killian saw Claire riding in the carriage, and the previous thought flashed through her mind again: am I going to die like this in my life? Death, what a terrifying term. He has seen the life of his former partner pass by in front of him. I don't want to die yet. I still want to live, my life should not end like this. The fear brought about by death, in turn, made Killian burst out with hope of life. He looked at Claire. Although he didn't know why, his body moved towards him. He had a feeling that this person could save him, and only he is willing to save himself. There is nothing wrong with the strange feeling I had before, it was my chance. Help me. Zillion's body seemed to have been hit with a cardio tonic, and kept moving towards Claire, but Claire never looked at him, but he still didn't give up, and kept moving his mutilated body in that direction. Hope. Until he heard that sentence. Lord Viscount, that beggar is looking at you. Chapter 78. Do what you want. In a blur of consciousness, Killian felt that he had been moved to the carriage, and the carriage stopped after a long time. Then he was moved to a room, and then the man's muttering came from his ears. Tisk tisk, both the hand meridian and the foot meridian were cut off, it's a little troublesome. And this penetrating injury, comminuted fracture, what a great hatred. I just connect his hands and feet. Sha-en, help me buy a healing scroll. He can't use healing potions for comminuted fractures. Quote. Then Killian felt a sharp pain from his hands and feet, and his body trembled involuntarily. Hey, there doesn't seem to be any anesthetics. Forget it, I can't die anyway. Let's continue. After receiving the meridian, Claire continued to take out the healing potion and poured it into the other's body wound, and Zillion finally felt a sense of peace of mind. The last warm light enveloped his body, and it was only when he fell asleep completely. Killian's mind was blurred, and it took some time before his consciousness gradually recovered and he slowly opened his eyes. Killian found himself lying on a soft bed, and being in an unfamiliar environment made him a little uncomfortable, and subconsciously wanted to move his body and leave here. With a thump, he fell off the bed. Killian looked at his hands in surprise, my hands have recovered. Then he hurriedly looked at his legs and various parts of his body. The injuries he suffered before had returned to their original appearance. This was a miracle. Killian was ecstatic and came back to life, but at this time there was a creaking sound from the door. Are you awake? Claire asked while standing at the door. Killian saw at a glance that this was the man who saved him yesterday, and immediately stood up. Thank you for saving me. I swore at the time that if anyone saved me, I would be loyal to him for the rest of my life. Quote. Unexpectedly, Claire laughed a few times. You. Allegiance to me. Killian was stunned for a while, not knowing what to say. If you want to be loyal to me, do you have any ability that is different from ordinary people? There are many thieves who can steal, and I don't lack a thief to be loyal to me. Killian opened his mouth, but couldn't say anything. He really had nothing different from ordinary people. Over the years, he had never learned anything except stealing, and his expression became even more embarrassed. I can work for you. As long as you want me to do anything, I will do it. Killian shouted. Do you know how much gold it cost to save you yesterday? A second-level healing scroll costs 500 gold coins, and the healing potion I used for you costs about 300 gold coins. Even if you have 800 gold coins, what do you think? Is your life worth 800 gold coins? Or, with your current ability, what can you do for me even if you risk your life? Zillion was stunned. He didn't expect that he would rather give his life, and the other party didn't care, which made him a little helpless. I can do anything. Killian's tone became weaker. I'm very smart and learn things very quickly. Does that mean you can't do anything right now? Killian was at a loss for words again, and began to feel a little overwhelmed. Claire walked in front of him and squatted down, looking into his eyes. Do you know why I saved you at that time? Killian shook his head. After some denial just now, he also didn't understand. I don't know. Claire chuckled. At that time, I saw the desire for life in your eyes, like someone who is about to suffocate in the water, but now your eyes are completely gone, and you can express your willingness at will. If you give your life, 800 gold coins are nothing to me. It's just a whim to save you. You don't have to think about how to repay me. No, I can definitely help you. Killian's eyes suddenly became tough. Claire also showed an admiring smile. Well, the eyes are not bad now, but what can you help me with? Can you read? Can you do arithmetic? Can you manage the city? Or are you a bronze-level knight who can help me in battle? Kill the enemy. Killian. This is for you. Claire took out a revolver from the space ring and put it in the other's hand. Go do what you want. Killian felt the heavy metal in his hand, and looked at Claire suspiciously. Oh, I'll show you a demonstration. Claire pulled out another pistol and shot at the bed where Killian was lying before. Boom. The deafening sound resounded in the room, and Killian was quite frightened, but when he looked back at the bed that didn't hit, he was stunned. The bed made of pure wood in front of him actually cracked into thin pieces of wood. One bullet can kill an unsuspecting silver-level warrior. Claire took out a yellowish thing from the space ring and put it in the opponent's hand, smiled and said, I'll give you 20 bullets, as for it's up to you how you use it. What happened? Shane pushed in the door and shouted. The sudden sound of gunfire just startled him. Claire waved. It's okay, it's just a small problem, let's send him out next. Killian walked out of the shop door in a confused way, holding a pistol and 20 yellow bullets tightly in his hand, feeling at a loss, took a few steps forward, and glanced at where Claire was. I seem to have come back to life, but it seems that nothing has changed. I can't stay by that person's side, but I have a powerful weapon in my hand. Shane looked at Killian, who was walking away, and asked, Lord Viscount, you finally saved him, why did you let him go? Claire thought about it for a while and replied, it's just a chess move that I have nothing to do. Can you surprise me after speaking? Killian habitually walked to an alley and sat down, rubbing his fingers against the revolver that Claire handed him, still in a daze, like a child abandoned in the desert, not knowing what to do. Measures. Now that he is free, he is out of the control of that gang. If he sells this weapon, he can have enough money to live a stable life in other cities. But that kind of life didn't seem to be what he tried so hard to pursue before. Killian rubbed his face hard, and looked erratically at the street. This is the street where he stayed after being beaten before. Someone just came out of the bakery carrying the bought bread, and as soon as Killian suddenly felt that he had returned to that special day 3 years ago. I figured it out before, my life shouldn't go on like this. Saying that, Killian looked at the pistol he was holding, and remembered what Claire told him before, go do what you want to do. Suddenly, Killian's eyes became firmer. www.mtlnovel.com, the aura also quietly changed. Kakaka. The 6 bullets were stuffed into the magazines and walked in the direction they remembered. The base camp of the Razor Club. Huh. Your kid didn't die. The wound actually healed. Did some kind noble lady save you, ha 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 ha. A sullen thug looked at Zillion, who was walking towards him, mocked. You might attract the pity of some noble ladies with this face, why? What do you mean by this expression? Don't even dare to answer my words. You lowly boy. The man stepped forward and grabbed Zillion by the collar, wanting to punch him angrily. All the grievances Killian had received over the years erupted at this moment, and her eyes immediately became fierce. He glared at the other party, and just that glance startled the bastard, and his fists froze. Killian's eyes became gloomy and full of killing intent. Take your dirty hands off me. What? The little screamed. His arm was pierced by a dagger, and then Killian quickly pulled it out and wiped it on the opponent's neck. Blood burst out and splashed on his face. For so many years, he has developed a set of skilled knife skills with razor thieves, and he doesn't need to use the weapon Claire gave him to deal with this kind of scumbag. Who dares to come to us to make trouble? A loud voice came from inside the house, and a silver-level soldier stepped out. This was the gang leader of the Razor Society. Boom. The corpse fell to the ground, the surroundings were silent, and everything was attributed to this loud noise. Chapter 79. Astral. Shane handed over a card. This is the student card of the Magic Academy given to you by Mrs. Sophia. Claire took it over and played it. The material and feel of the amethyst card were similar to that of the amethyst card. It had his color avatar and basic information printed on it. It looked like a student card from a previous life. It's very efficient. That's right. The vice president of the Magic Academy is the ancestor of the August family and one of the 6 great magisters in the kingdom. It's natural to do such trivial matters quickly. Claire raised her eyebrows, a little surprised. There's still this relationship. No wonder he was able to mobilize the light-chasing bird, the exclusive mount in the Magic Academy. It turns out that there is such a big connection with the Magic Academy. Stop talking, I'm going to the Magic Academy. Claire put away the card and walked out. Would you like me to take it for you? No, I'll just go on my mount. After Claire arrived in the capital, she never had the opportunity to ride the Wolf King. Now, when she goes to the Magic Academy, she finally doesn't have to take a carriage. To tell the truth, the Wolf King's back is much more comfortable than those made of carriages. There are 4 entrances to the School of Magic. Claire went to the school entrance in the southern district closest to here. After entering the school, a crystal embedded on it emitted a laser and scanned Claire's whole body, and found that it was a student of the school. Then took it back. It's quite advanced, and there is an identity verification machine. Claire couldn't help but sighed in admiration. It seemed that her knowledge of this magical world was still somewhat lacking. Entering the Magic Academy is the largest place in the entire royal capital. As soon as Claire came in, there were green trees. He complained in his heart. The greening is doing quite well. Looking further in, he saw a sharp building, and he rode the wolf dynasty and let it go. The closer the distance, the more students Claire met. The Magic Academy here is quite in line with the Magic Academy he imagined. The students inside are all wearing magic robes, which are said to be specially given to them by the Academy. Spell resistance. Most of these students are riding their own mounts. Claire has seen no less than a dozen dragon beast mounts, and they sell at least tens of thousands of gold coins for each. Riding a tamed beast. Of course, there are also silhouettes passing overhead. That is the flying technique that can only be used by high-level mages. The only thing Claire can use now is the levitation technique. Claire looked around, found a student who didn't look very busy, walked over to say hello, "Classmate, can you tell me where the library is?" The main purpose of Claire entering the Magic Academy is to take a fancy to the magic book collection here. As for class, she basically won't go to class, so Sophia didn't even arrange a tutor for him, but just gave him a free entry into the Magic Academy and the library inside. Strictly speaking, he is not a student in the Magic Academy. Huh. The girl who was shouted turned around. "Are you calling me?" Claire pursed her lips slightly. Why did she call out another woman? But she looked pretty good, and the twinkling eyes were cute. "Well, I want to go to the library, can you tell me where?" The pretty girl turned around, and it was only at this time that Claire saw the other person was holding a large handful of papers, with excitement in his eyes. "You don't even know the library, are you a freshman?" Claire nodded. "You can say the same. If you're a freshman, join my club." The girl excitedly handed over a colored piece of paper that read, "Astral Club." Astral. Claire knows that a concept widely circulated in the magician circle is that all planes are in the astral plane, and the world he is now in is also one of the planes. If you want to enter other planes, if you are a plane, you can successfully enter other planes with the guidance of the astral world. Some are like the concept between the universe and various planets. The astral world is the universe, and the planes in which various creatures live are the planets in the universe where life was born. The astral world is boundless. The master believes that life, the of demons, is also a big plane in the astral world, and the kingdom of gods formed by the gods with their own power is also a plane. Astral society. What is it mainly for? Claire waved the flyer in his hand. He was quite interested. His golden finger was able to trade with traders from various worlds, maybe it had something to do with the astral world. It's to explore the astral world and find a way to other worlds. The girl said excitedly. Claire handed the flyer back and chuckled. The ideal is beautiful, but the steps are too big. I don't think many people are willing to join your club, right? How did you know? How did I know? You're holding this big bag of flyers, obviously you haven't sent out one of them. To study the astral world, at least a mages at the level of sorcerer can be able to study it. Isn't it wishful thinking that you are looking for someone who can explore the astral world in the new students? Humph. The pretty girl grabbed her flyer back angrily. It's fine if you don't join, why are you talking so much? Sooner or later I will become a wizard-level mage. Then I won't join, will you still show me the way? Claire asked embarrassedly, scratching her head. Over there. Go by yourself. If you just joined, I'll take you there. The girl pointed to a building to the east and said. Thank you. Claire responded with a polite smile, took a few steps forward, and suddenly stopped again. Actually, I think it's not a good thing to set your sights on the star realm too early. You can pay attention to your own strength first. As for things at the level of the star realm, it's not too late to wait until your strength improves in the future. Claire's words were completely well-intentioned, for fear that the other party would go the wrong way. Don't worry about it, I'm just interested in the astral world. The pretty girl replied, and then walked away with the flyer in her hand. Claire shrugged. Since the other party didn't listen to the persuasion, there was nothing he could do. The two were not good friends, so he had to pull each other back on the right track. Riding the Wolf King was about to walk in the direction of the library, when Claire was suddenly stopped by someone. Stop. Claire turned her head back in confusion. It was a male student in a magic robe, looking at him with hatred. Is something wrong? Why did you reject Edith's invitation just now? Claire was about to answer. www.mtlnovel.com. The girl who had just left ran over again and shouted, What are you doing, Baker? I said don't bother me again. The boy hurriedly said, I want to join your club, why don't you let me in? You are looking for new students everywhere, and these new students don't know what's good or bad. You are not interested in the astral world at all. I just want to find a magician who is as interested in the astral world as I am. Claire watched the excitement from the side, and he probably understood the ins and outs of the matter with every word they said. It was probably the story of licking a dog and chasing a goddess. Then even if you don't let me into your society, let me help you find it. Belle explained eagerly. No need. I'll find the members of my club myself, and all you find are coerced and lured. If you're not really interested in the astral world, you won't be able to feel the call of the astral world. After a few glances, Claire felt that it was boring. The two children's emotional problems are so good, they are going to leave here on the Wolf King. You stop. She was called again before she took a few steps. Claire frowned and turned back. Why are you calling me again? It doesn't seem like I have anything to do with it. You haven't answered my question just now. Why didn't you join Edith's astral society? Belle was still a little indignant. He wanted to enter but couldn't, but the other party didn't care. I've said it before, it's better to do anything than to study the star realm. Now you're too weak for your strength, and even if you study it, you won't be able to get anything out. Belle said unhappily. You said that our strength is weak. What strength are you now? Claire spread her hands helplessly. I'm better than you anyway. Chapter 80. Summoning Spell. Belle. Edith shouted loudly. Only then did Belle, who was about to fight with Claire, stop shouting. Are you embarrassed for a third-year student bullying a freshman? Belle put away his staff and glanced at Claire with dissatisfaction. Good luck to you. Claire chuckled and said, this sentence is also for you. The opponent was 2 or 3 years older than him, and he was also an intermediate-level mage. Although Claire had not tried to fight a mage of the same level, he was confident that he could kill him. What if you have studied for 3 years in the Magic Academy? If you study hard, you need to be a genius. I'm sorry to bother you, you should go first. Edith stepped forward and bowed in apology. Claire is not a stingy person either, just smile a little and it's over. It's okay, it's not a big deal, but I want to ask, why are you so eager to explore the astral world? Edith hesitated, sighed and didn't say anything. Want to go to another plane? Claire asked proactively. Yeah, Edith nodded. Then there is no need to explore the astral world. The astral world is above the spiritual world, and at least mages at the magister level can travel to the astral world and explore new planes. This is not an existence that we can touch. In addition to the astral plane, there are many ways to go to other planes. The more stable one is to reach other planes through the 2 transition planes, the spiritual plane and the shadow plane. Edith nodded. I know this, but if it's that easy, I won't study the astral world. These 2 transition planes also need to have a certain strength, otherwise it's impossible to enter at all. And it's not as fast and convenient as entering the star realm. Don't worry, listen to me, there are other ways besides these 2. The first one is to find the plane teleportation circle left by the magicians in the ancient times. In ancient times, our main plane and many other the planes came into contact, and many magical races also entered our world at that time. That is, at that time, the mages on our side established many teleportation circles with other planes, and now there should be a lot of them left. If you want to go to another plane, this may be an easier way. Belle immediately shouted. Edith, don't believe him. Those magic circles handed down in ancient times have been around for more than 10,000 years, and they are not reliable at all. If you go in or not, you may not be able to come out. He's right, there are indeed some risks, so I'll show you the second way, faith. The 2 true gods who believe in the shadow plane, after receiving the gift, they can step into the shadow plane with their bodies. Among them, go to other worlds, but, those 2 true gods are not good people, and the danger in the shadow plane is not less than that in the astral plane. This is just to give you an opportunity to go to other planes. It's absolutely impossible for Edith. How can she believe in other gods except the god of light? Belle's expression panicked. Stop talking, Belle. Edith yelled at the other party, and Belle closed her mouth. Claire also showed a playful smile. Some mages who are exploring the truth actually believe in gods. It seems that the infiltration of the Church of Light has reached this level. Belle opened his mouth and finally whispered, and the method he said is not necessarily safe. The teacher didn't talk about it in class. There is a more robust way. Claire said with a cheek. Please say it. Edith's tone became more respectful. Summoning magic. We can summon magical creatures in various worlds through summoning magic. Some are randomly summoned, and of course there are fixed summons. We can summon several undead skeletons through necromantic summoning, and then use contract magic to contact, in our own make a mark on your body and send it back to the necroplanet, and let it set up a magic circle that summons you in that side of the world, so that you can enter the necroworld by summoning. Although the Necronomicon is not as fast as the astral world to find and enter various planes, the Necronomicon is indeed one of the planes with the deepest interconnection with the main material planes, where you can find more in other planes. The space cracks formed by mutual contact. Some space cracks can be stable for hundreds of years. This is a relatively convenient way to enter other planes. This method was often used in the heyday of magic, and many planes were developed in this way. Those crazy mages made a lot of summons, then made contracts with the summoned creatures and teleported them back to their planes, and then to themselves summon, and then build a space teleportation circle on the plane over there, and then send all the forces of your own forces to that plane to colonize and plunder that plane. But it has been so long, except for those who deliberately search for information, very few people will understand this method. That method is too dangerous. Maybe the plane that is randomly summoned is more advanced than their own plane, will be invaded in turn. So now all mages at the Magister level travel the astral world, explore various planes to find planes with rich materials, and then start to invade the planes of the other side. At present, there are 3 colonial planes of other planes in the Royal Capital Academy of Magic, specializing in plundering the unique magic materials and mineral resources there. Who are you? How do you know so much? Edith asked. Claire touched her nose. Can I tell you that there are so many books on this subject that I want to go back to Earth? I'm Claire, an ordinary viscount from Nafu City. Knowledge needs to be acquired by yourself. The teacher can teach you some knowledge that everyone knows, but only some knowledge has to be obtained by your own exploration. While saying this, Claire glanced at Belle on the side, intentionally or unintentionally. Anyway, thank you very much. Edith bowed deeply to Claire. After saying that, Edith picked up the large handful of flyers and hurriedly ran in one direction. Claire pursed her lips as she watched Edith leave, but she didn't want to delve into why the other party had to find another plane. After Edith left, Belle yelled fiercely at Claire, "Why did you tell her this? Do you know how dangerous these are? Which thing a magician wants to do that isn't dangerous? Somehow, there is still a direction, www.mtlnovel.com, but you only follow other people's ass. You are also worthy of being called a magician." Claire disdainfully said that he really looked down on a mage like Belle. Shut up. Belle took out his staff again angrily, and chanted another long series of spells at Claire. A hot fireball appeared in front of him out of thin air with the end of the spell. Go. With an order, the fireball blasted towards Claire. Claire's eyes flickered slightly, and he touched the Wolf King's head. The next second, a wind blade condensed in the Wolf King's mouth and shot it towards the fireball. The wind blade cut open the fireball, splitting it in half, and then attacked Belle with a certain power. Seeing the wind blade attacking him, Belle felt nervous, and hurriedly rolled to one side to avoid it. Just as he was about to get up, the Wolf King who came over pinned him to the ground with his claws and couldn't move. Claire glanced at the other person condescendingly. I just said, it's only you who will be unlucky with me. Let me go. Belle struggled on the ground. I'm going to duel you. You can't even beat my mount, so do you still want to duel? If you swayed forward so long before casting the spell, I could kick you to death with one kick. Go back and practice. After Claire finished speaking, she signaled the Wolf King to release his claws. With a wave of his hand, a gust of wind swept past Belle on the ground more than 10 meters away. When Belle recovered and got up, Claire didn't know where he rode the Wolf King, and Belle was now disgraced, so he had to swallow his anger temporarily and go back to the dormitory to get a new set of soiled mage robes. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories, and never miss out on a great listen.